Hello, everybody, and well, I guess I shouldn't do an intro, but but I am back. We are back. As a matter of fact, the lobby is back up. We're all raring and ready to go. Now, I do apologize. So apparently, my power just went out for like 5 seconds. Then it came back on, and of course, I had to wait for my internet to come back on, get all the teams in the lobby, etc. But I think we're back. I'm hoping we're okay, but if the internet, but if somehow it does go out again, I'll see if I can get someone else to run the mainstream for the rest of the night. So fingers crossed it doesn't happen. But without further ado, let's get into, we're going to be restarting game number 2 between these two teams, and hopefully we have no issues. No, all my power ended up going out. Like, all the power went out. My power, internet, lights, everything ended up going out. But we're ready to go now. Hopefully, we're in a good spot to keep going. Here we go. We'll go talk to my power company. Thank you so much. Now, apparently, after the power went out, it did end up being a tied 1-1 game. But of course, we do have to restart. But luckily for Reseda, they're continuing to put on a good performance. It wasn't just a one-time situation where they're keeping it close. But here we go. Let's see if Reseda can score first. That's one thing I want to see. Look at that possession from Zephyr, setting up his two teammates. We're starting to see them be even more confident on the ball. Here we go. Ball back out to Horizon. Horizon pinches that ball out to the side. Back over to Kilo. Kilo actually 50 somebody. Honestly, like, you normally expect the speed of a GC3 to be higher than a GC1. But now we're seeing the, as I was saying that, own goal for Reseda. And that will be goal 1 for Aura Esports. Hopefully that does look like a goal that they can kind of laugh off. I mean, it looks like Kilo actually did almost read that post bounce really well. So it isn't a complete own goal at the end of the day. Here we go. Kilo wins the kickoff solidly. Ball bounces out mid. Zephyr, barely misses that one, but that's going to leave Mr. Chair last man back, and Mr. Chair stepping up on defense in the 1v3, but that's going to be a brilliant shot, and that's going to be a goal. And it looks like Zephyr is disconnected here for a second. Hopefully he's able to get back. Otherwise, they're going to have to try and make a 2-goal comeback in a 2v3, which is, of course, something you don't want to see. It looks like he gets back just in time. Drew ends up not being able to get to that touch. Now, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair so far is the only player on Reseda Esports to have scored in this last chance qualifier. But here we go. Zephyr. He's looking for a chance. Kilo trying to maintain possession. Ends up putting it into the corner, and Deluxe Drew taps it out. Now, the cool thing is I did end up coaching Reseda right before this, trying to help them at least clean up their rotations before the series started. Of course, there's only so much you can do in the 30 minutes before your match, but so far they've already looked a lot cleaner compared to yesterday. Right now they're trying to put everything into practice for the most part. Glad to see that they're here and putting in the work. But of course, I've coached Survivor and Deluxe Drew as well, so honestly, a lot of players in Havoc Esports I've coached before, so we're just overall seeing who can put in the most effort and put it to practice better than the other teams. Here we go. Ball back over to Kilo. Kilo back to Deluxe Drew. Zephyr will win that 50 strong into the other half, but a great doink will force them to get the touch. When does Havoc Pink and Red play? They will be playing right after this series finishes. So sadly, since I did end up having a power outage, we're going to be a little behind schedule. But right after the series finishes, we will be doing Havoc Red versus Havoc Pink. Here we go, though. Horizon back over to Kilo. Kilo trying to maintain possession, but he ends up missing on that one. Mr. Chair now going to be the one tasked to maintain possession. He flicks the ball over 1. Can he get it past 2? He gets it past 2. And will now be back into the hands of Deluxe Drew. Deluxe Drew puts it down. Back to Kilo. Kilo shoots. He's looking for his first goal. He's not able to find Zephyr. Looking to pass the ball out mid. Setting up Kilo. Kilo gets a dunk. Where's the follow-up? No follow-up from Reseda Esports. Here we go. Game 1 finished at the 2-goal deficit, and right now we're staying at a 2-goal deficit. Back over to Deluxe Drew. He ends up putting that ball to the side. Survivor pops it high into the air as well. We now over to Horizon. Horizon can't get the touch he wants. He'll be setting up Kilo. Kilo with a great fake. Trying to buy some time. Flicks it over one. On it back over to Survivor. Survivor to Zephyr. Zephyr, can he get the touch? He will get the touch. It's off the backboard. Still follow up from Horizon. And that's going to be the goal. 3-0 lead for Aura Esports. Now, I do wonder who on Reseda Esports was able to get the goal. Of course, if it was Mr. Chair again, he's now scored 3 goals. Not officially, since it was when the power was out. But at the end of the day, I think Reseda Esports, they're right here. They are for experience. They're trying to show how good they are as individuals. And right now, they're also trying to show, because of course we never know how the off-season's going to go. But maybe going into next season, maybe if Reseda have another team in North America that's going to be solidly in main league, or if they're going to stick together. And because no matter what, we are going to be seeing Reseda Esports in main league next season, should they choose to play, of course. Because now all 3 of them, I believe, are now too high ranked to play in Academy. At the beginning of the season, they were all Champ 3. But as the season has progressed, they have all gotten up to Grand Champ and even beyond. So all these 3 players trying to continue to build on that experience and get to the top of Havoc here in the near future. Ball back out middle. Survivor trying to look for a touch. Not able to get there, though. Back over to Kilo now. He pops the ball over one, trying to pass the ball mid. Now over to the side. Back over to Kilo. Kilo. Back over now. Now to Zephyr. The question is, do I say it live to the stream so YouTube can hear it too? Ball back over to Horizon. He'll look to try and take possession. He flicks the ball over one. Back to Deluxe Drew, and that's going to be a fantastic goal. 4-0 lead, and it looks like, just as in game number 1, it took Aurora to get a little bit warmed up in the game, but once they do, they're able to amp up the scoreline just that little bit more. But Reseda have looked good, but we're going to have to see it not only, but for Reseda to move on in this bracket, and to be the first Academy team to do so, they're going to not only have to win 1 game, but they're going to have to win 3 games in a row. Ball back over now. Survivor with an empty net shot, and Reseda Esports gonna have to try and reset before game number 3. Solid stuff though from Reseda. I think at the beginning of the game it was a very even match. Now in the hands of Horizon. Horizon looking for the touch, drops it down to Deluxe Drew. They're going to be looking for a last-second goal, and that's going to be a shutout for Aura Esports in game number 2. Still not the end of the world, though, Still not the end of the world here for Reseda Esports. Everyone in Reseda Esports, you got to make sure you're cheering on your team in the chat, or if you're just a fan of Aura Esports in general, make sure to cheer on your team. But there again, and something we noticed about that game is Mr. Chair not being as prominent as say game number 1, where Mr. Chair got both the goals for Reseda. But now we're going to be going on to Sovereign Heights to see if Reseda Esports can at least start the comeback. But they can't be thinking about the series score right now. All they got to be telling themselves is, hey, 1 game at a time, 1 goal at a time. And if they can do that, maybe they can come back here in this series. Here we go. Aura Esports 5-0. Remember, right after this, I believe we're going to be seeing Havoc Red, old Escape Velocity Phoenix's roster, but now Havoc Esports Red. They'll be playing against the Academy team, Havoc Pink, the Academy champions, in the next game on stream. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. I personally can't wait to see how that match ends up going. Because, of course, this is the highest seed in the Last Chance Qualifier versus the second best team coming out of Academy. So it's not like we're expecting Reseda Esports to be favorites here. But Havoc Pink, they're definitely expected to be a very solid team coming into this, and a very respected team in regards to the rotations. Here we go. Mr. Chair taking his time, trying to show up in spots where he wasn't able to in the previous game. Kilo loses the 50 back to Zephyr. Zephyr trying to maintain possession, looking for the 50, ends up getting the ball off the crossbar. Back to the backboard. Kilo trying to lose the 50 back to Zephyr. Zephyr not able to get the touch he wants. Be back over to Horizon. Horizon gets baited out. Deluxe Drew came off the ceiling, but that's going to be Survivor. Last man back has to get a solid touch. He puts up putting it to Kilo. Kilo pass out mid to Zephyr. Zephyr can't get the touch he wants, though, but he ends up getting the bump. And now Mr. Chair ends up pushing a little bit too far up the field, not able to get the touch he wants. Back over to Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair looking for the possession. Flicks it over one. Oh, Survivor got beat, but Mr. Chair can't find the back of the net. Now back to Kilo. Kilo to the side to Zephyr. Zephyr trying to take his time, waiting for the touch to come out. Mr. Chair now has to keep the ball in the offensive end. We're starting to see some actual consistent pressure from Reseda Esports in game number 3. We saw some at the beginning of game number 1, but since then we haven't seen a ton of pressure. And right now they finally managed to not only break past one, but they broke past the whole team. Zephyr, can he score his first goal? Not able to get his first goal. Ends up being a little bit too afraid to jump up for that ball. Deluxe Drew putting that ball to the side to Kilo. Kilo not able to get up to where he wants to go. Back out to the side to Zephyr. Zephyr to Kilo. Kilo to Zephyr. And Zephyr back over to Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair back over now to Zephyr. And it looks like we're seeing that no matter what, Reseda Esports are finding themselves behind the ball, which is at least a really good start to their rotation, but that's on the goal line. Can they come back? No. Survivor, the striker, will finally put that one to the back of the net. But yeah, Kilo, a little similar to the Academy League. We're seeing him look a little bit more nervous than normal, missing some balls that he normally doesn't in this game, which is to be expected, of course, but hopefully he can fix that up just as he did in the semifinal match yesterday and show up here in the quarterfinal. Mr. Chair looking for goal number 3, not able to find that one. And Reseda Esports still being held scoreless, now 7 minutes, and even more if we want to count game 1. Now into the hands of Mr. Chair, taking his time, looking for possession, looking to try and bait his opponents in. Lose the 50 back to Kilo. Kilo passes it up, but Horizon with a great read will send the ball down the pitch. Here comes Zephyr off the sidewall. Ball up for Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair ends up getting a poor first touch, and it will be going to the hands of Survivor. Now back to Kilo. Kilo getting beat out to the ball on that one. Deluxe Drew through the air, using those mechanics, tried the pre-flip behind the ball. Now back to Horizon. Horizon with that touch will end up sending up Survivor. Pinches it mid. Mr. Chair will get the save. Still only a 1-goal game. And at the end of the day, I honestly think if Reseda want to win a game, they have to get at least a 1-goal lead. They honestly don't need more than that. Of course, if they can get more than a goal lead, I mean, that's, of course, fantastic for them. But whenever you're seeing an underdog team go against a more experienced team, normally in order for a game win to have to happen, it normally ends up being a 1-0 or barely a 2-1 win, where it was a tied game for the most part, and they get an overtime goal. Reseda down by 1 now. Zephyr has to rush back. He does get the touch. Ends up going straight to Horizon, but he ends up passing it back. Kilo gets faked out a little bit, and Mr. Chair will beat the opponents to the ball. Through the air, here comes Survivor. Survivor down the pitch. Now over to Horizon. Horizon to Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair sends the ball down the pitch. He gets 50 by Mr. Chair once more. Mr. Chair letting Kilo go in front of him to go for a demo or some sort of boost steal, but now it'll be back out to Zephyr. Zephyr trying to maintain possession. Can he flick the ball? Gets the ball past 1. Back over now to Deluxe Drew. Deluxe Drew gets the beat. Will now be back in the hands of Kilos. He tries to maintain possession. Back over now to Deluxe Drew. Deluxe Drew gets beat. Now into the hands of Kilo. Kilo, can he get the possession here? Looking to slow down the play. Passes the ball mid. Can he get the pinch? Oh, they almost got the team pinch there, but with a minute left on the clock, still only a 1-goal deficit. Aura Esports looking to try and win game 3 by 1. Kilo ends up missing. Zephyr ends up missing. It's bouncing towards the net, and Survivor gets 50 by Kilo. That's going to be a great 50 out by Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair out to the sidewall now. Taken away to the corner. Survivor trying to maintain possession. Looking for the 4 even further. That's going to be another great save on the goal line, but they have to get the ball to the other end. And a miss from Deluxe Drew that might open up an opportunity, but somehow a Reseda player gets demoed. Here comes Zephyr looking to get the 50. He Doomsday dishes. It's on the goal line. They can't get the goal. That was their opportunity to tie the game. But with 15 seconds to go, that might be their only opportunity. Ball pinches down the field. Deluxe Drew. He pops the ball into the air. 2 people in the air for Aura Esports. But that was Reseda's chance. It was almost all the way in. And that ball gets put top right corner. Reseda Esports barely not getting the goal. So sad. But at least it wasn't a perfect sweep here from Aura Esports. But Reseda ends up getting knocked out in the quarterfinals. We're not going to be seeing an Academy team getting to the semifinals of a last chance qualifier just yet. But at least we do get to see Havoc Pink in the next match right after this. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for showing up here to the first match. I apologize once again for my power going out. Maybe it would have been a different series. But coming up next, we're going to have Academy Pink versus Havoc Esports Red in the next match. Hopefully it will be just as much of a nail biter. But shout out to Reseda Esports. They came in, they had a coaching session 30 minutes before this, and they visibly looked better than they did yesterday. And I think that's something that you really have to commend. And honestly, if they scored there, if that ball just narrowly went in, maybe we could have seen a different series. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for the first quarterfinal of the night. We've had a couple forfeits, so we're going to go to the final quarterfinal right after this. So I'm going to see you guys all in a bit. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Havoc Esports Last Chance Qualifier, where 8 teams are trying to fight for the last 2 spots in the championships, which will be taking place next week. But everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. We just got finished with our first series of the night, a quarterfinal between between Aura Esports and Reseda Esports. Reseda Esports coming in as the second best Academy team, going against the best team in the Last Chance Qualifier, or the 7th best team in Main League. And for Reseda Esports, they actually did really well going against Aura Esports. The second best Academy team going against the 7th best Main League team. You might think that's not big of a difference, but just to give y'all some reference, the beginning of the season, there were 20 Main League teams, so they were going toe-to-toe against the top half of Main League as the second best Academy team. That just goes to show how much these teams have improved in Academy and Main League over the last couple of months. Without further ado, I think we're a little bit off schedule, so let's get the players in the lobby and let's get started in game number 1 of Havoc Red versus the side of Havoc Pink. So don't get fooled by them having similar names. Havoc Pink is an Academy team. And with them being an Academy team, they are also the Academy League Champions. So they do have experience winning in important matches, unlike some Main League teams. Some Main League teams don't have experience winning important matches, but of course they do have the higher skill level than Havoc Pink. Now that's going to be goal number 1. Going to find itself going straight into the back of the net by Havoc Red. Havoc Red, of course, at the beginning of the season were Escape Velocity Phoenix, and throughout the season they ended up not re-signing with Escape Velocity, and now they are part of Havoc Esports as Havoc Red, and Unicorn Huntress will put the ball in the back of the net. And actually, that's something we have to take note of here. Havoc Pink are not playing with Rebel, the player that stepped in and helped them win the Academy playoffs last night. So they are playing with their 7 Unicorn Huntress. But Unicorn Huntress, he himself has only lost 1 time whenever he's subbed in, and that was just in the Split 2 playoffs. Every other series he's played in, which is the entirety of Split 1, he won all those series. He was undefeated in Split 1 on this team. And then Havoc Pink, they still felt like they could improve a little bit more, so that's why they picked up Rebel. But still, don't think that Unicorn Huntress is going to not show up in this series. He will. He will show, granted, why they were able to get a sweep throughout Split 1. But here we go. Sprag ends up putting that ball out to the side. Now, off the hands of Tricky, we'll put the ball into the corner. And we're seeing, right now, we're seeing that this series is definitely going to be Havoc Red favored. Just like the last series, this is pretty much a Grand Champ 3 / SSL team versus a GC1 Max team in regards to Havoc Pink. Because we'd have to remember at the beginning of the season, in order to be an Academy, you have to be Champ 3 or below. And, of course, when we're looking at Unicorn Huntress, Tricky, and Pre, at the beginning of the season, they were all Champ 3 or below. They've now all reached, I believe, except maybe Unicorn Huntress has reached Grand Champ. which means that throughout the season, they've improved significantly, going from low Champ 3 all the way now to being the best team in Academy and being Grand Champ 1. Of course, it's still not favored. It's still not to their favor. They are still playing against a Grand Champ 3 team. But even then, we're still going to be looking to see how their team experience will allow them to come back here in the series. And Tricky will put that ball in the back of the net. Very similar to last series where we expected Kilo to really step up as a mechanical player against a main league team. We're going to be expecting Tricky, who I think after yesterday officially crowned himself as the best player in the Academy League after yesterday's championship performance. And right now, they got a tied game. Very similar to Game 1 from Aura Esports and Reseda Esports, where Havoc Red went up by 2 goals, and then Havoc Pink came back by 2. And right now, we're back to a tied game. Havoc Pink looking to be the only Academy team now that's left standing to take a game off the main league team. Of course, in the past, Academy teams have been able to take games off of main league teams, but none of them have been able to win a series. So, let's see if Havoc Pink, the champions for Academy, are able to do just that. But in order to do that, they're going to have to first of all take Game 1. I think in order for us to see a Havoc Pink win the series, we do have to see them try and take Game 1. If they don't take Game 1, it's definitely going to be a very difficult task. But luckily for Havoc Pink, they have a lot of experience in very nerve-wracking situations. They managed to win the championships yesterday for our Academy, so they know what it's like to win a tournament. And for those of y'all who have never won a tournament before, the feeling is indescribable. And the feeling of being in a grand final, nevertheless, is also indescribable. If you've never been in a grand final before, the nerves are insanely different than, say, even a semifinal. You think, well, I mean, the entire time you're nervous about getting knocked out of the tournament, true. But when you're on the verge of being able to win a tournament, the nerves just add on twice or even 3 times as much as just you trying to stay alive in a tournament. It's a really weird feeling because you'd think it'd be the same amount of nerves. And Havoc Pink have experienced those nerves and experienced success. So right now, they even said coming into the series today that they're coming in with no regrets, no worries. And unlike last series, we got an Academy team that has taken the lead. And look at this pre-dude will end up getting a great dunk on the opponents. Because that's what you have to remember. Havoc Pink, they know what it's like to win. And it's very similar to RLCS in that respect, where you think OCE and SAM level teams, you expect them to lose to NA and EU teams. But when you look at the majors, the teams that normally show up the best are that first place team in each region. Power last split, Secret last split. They ended up being first seed. Well, Secret did end up being second seed, but they had more experience in the past. So at the end of the day, being a higher ranked team does not necessarily mean you are the favorites to win a game, because you have to imagine Havoc Red, if they lose to an Academy team, especially if they lose even one game, that's got to make them very nervous. But it looks like Unicorn Huntress has disconnected in what might be the closest opportunity for Havoc Pink to actually win a game. It looks like Unicorn Huntress, he's back. Okay, looks like Havoc Pink have managed to stave off the pressure in a momentary 2v3, allow his time for his teammate to come back from being disconnected. And now it's going to be over to Tricky. Tricky looking for a beat past 1. Gets a beat past, oh, he almost gets a beat past Awash. Now, I did hear word. So, of course, we do have Final Form White, who made it to the championships through the tiebreaker. And they managed to make 2 top 8s, but but since they didn't make a single top 4, they weren't able to clinch out that championship spot from other teams. And right now, we're going to be seeing them right now playing against an Academy team. And I heard that they ended up 7-0ing Final Form Black in scrims last night. And so that's very interesting. And this is after being coached the entirety of last week. And so they've definitely improved a lot, but now they have to show all their improvement in a tournament setting. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you can 7-0 teams in scrims if you can't even beat an Academy team in a tournament setting. Of course, this Academy team does have experience winning tournaments, so it really is going to be a battle of mentals here. Because Havoc Pink, they're definitely good enough to win. They have enough mechanics to touch the ball without whiffing, especially a player like Tricky. So right now, it's a battle of wills. Havoc Pink, they have no worries in the world. Whereas a team like Havoc Red, they have all the worries right now. It's a lose-lose situation. If Havoc Red even lose a single game, they're still going to be nervous. A great double there from Predude. He gets the ball past the entire team. He's looking to try and get a demo. He gets a demo to Unicorn Huntress. He gets beat. Ball rolling off the backboard. It bounces up. And ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Havoc Pink may have taken it to overtime. And yes, they have. An Academy team in overtime. These are the type of games, if you're the underdog team, you want it to go to overtime. You want the other team to be nervous. You want it to be a close game, because when it is, that's your best opportunity to really shut out the other team. Ball bounces out middle. Tricky looking for the shot. Alley will end up getting the save there, but a follow-up from Unicorn Huntress. It won't find its way into the back of the net, but look at this. We're seeing some pressure from Havoc Pink, the Academy champions, putting on some pressure against the second highest seeded team in this last chance qualifier. Here we go. It's going to be a bump from Tricky on the opponent, and he managed to get a touch out. He loses the 50 back over to Predude, who's trying to maintain possession. He gets the beat over not just one, but two players. Can he get it past the third? It looks like Sprag will get the touch he needs, and Unicorn Huntress will once again get a touch out to the corner. Ball bounces out mid. Sprag will double commit with his teammate, but he gets the touch out to the side. But here comes Tricky, looking to try and get the beat. Gets the tries to get the pass out mid, but he's not able to do so. And here comes Tricky once again. He ends up getting a decent 50. But now we back over to the hands of Predude. He wins the 50 out to the side. Over now to Awash. Awash to Tricky. Tricky. Looking for the speed. Putting the ball off the backboard. And still, neither one of these teams have gotten a very scary shot on target just yet. Alley, though, will put it to Sprag. He fakes it, which might give Alley just enough space. This is very scary now for Havoc Pink, but no scary shot ends up coming. The ball kind of bounces. That's an empty net. Unicorn Huntress misses the empty net. That was their chance. And of course, we saw Reseda Esports. They had a chance to tie up the game at late in the game, and they weren't able to take that chance and lost. Maybe Havoc Pink, they have the mentals to win this game, even after missing that very close opportunity. Predude, he pre-jumped through the air. Oh my goodness. Now Awash has to get the touch. He ends up passing it mid. Unicorn Huntress puts it off the backboard. Follow-up. No follow-up from Havoc Pink. Unicorn Huntress, again, being the closest person to win a game for the Academy team. Unicorn Huntress, though, he'll pass the ball over to Predude. Predude puts it off the corner. And I think right now, Havoc Pink, they want to try and set oh my goodness, Unicorn Huntress has to get the touch. He puts it to the side. Alley looks for the shot. It looks like he whipped. I was smoke screened myself. And it looks like we'll still be continuing on in this overtime. But I think Havoc Pink, they have to find some way to set up Tricky. I think Tricky will be the one player who will have enough confidence no matter who he's playing against to score, no matter what nerves are on the line. Predude pinches that ball out mid. Unicorn Huntress has to get the touch. He keeps it on the offensive end. Predude floating through the air. Can't get the backboard read. But now it's over to Tricky. Tricky ends up popping the ball at mid. That's a hit right to Awash. Awash to Alley. That's going to be a miss. And Awash will get the goal. Havoc Pink, they kept it so close. But a poor touch from Awash will result in a goal. And that will be the end of game number one. Such a close opportunity for this team. But Havoc Pink have to go back to the drawing board after barely not getting the win. Oh my, folks. I mean, that's as close as an Academy team can get to winning. And honestly, it felt like they deserved that win. They fought back. They took a lead momentarily. But they have to go back to the drawing board. As now we're going to be going on to Beckwith Park Stormy to see if Havoc Pink can regain from their close win. If anything, I think they should build up their confidence. They did end up losing. Sure, they ended up losing, but hopefully they can use that to build up their confidence and show that, hey, Pink, you guys can not only take a game, you guys can take multiple. Because right now, Havoc Red, they're honestly looking nervous in this game right now. So let's see if Havoc Pink can take this one. Here we go. The players are in. Let's get them started in game number 2. Havoc Red able to win the overtime, so you'd think that would help them build their confidence. But we do have to remember, win or loss, Havoc Pink are going to be coming in with confidence. They know that they're the underdogs. They're coming in. They said it in the interview after winning the championships yesterday. They have no expectations on themselves. Whereas Havoc Red, they have all the pressure on them. If they lose even a single game to an Academy team, they are definitely going to be nervous. Ball back over now to Sprag. He gets the beat Unicorn Huntress. He went AFK for just a second. Ball goes off the sidewall. Follow up here. Ball pinches out forward. Alley looking to try and maintain possession. Looks like Alley has switched cars. What car is that? I think that's one of the newer cars. But we'll pinch out. I don't know the name of the car, though. Ball will get pinched out mid. Unicorn Huntress looking for the beat. Back over now. Can he get the bump on Awash? Very close opportunity. But Havoc Red stave off the pressure for now. Allie will get the hinge down the field. But that's going to be Predude with the best own goal of all time. Predude, look at this shot. Okay, Allie, you pass the field up to Awash, and look at Predude. Oh my, barring in. Havoc Pink. One of the best own goals of all time. Havoc Pink, hopefully they're able to just keep their mentals in the right place after that one. Hopefully they were able to just laugh it off. At the end of the day, it is just one goal. But Havoc Pink, they're definitely not going to be as happy as they may have been after almost being able to take game one. And Havoc Red going to use this opportunity to extend the scoreline once again. And look at that. That's going to be another fantastic shot from Awash, the captain, El Capitan. Can he keep his team in the right mentals? Can he take them to the semifinals? And remember, in the semifinals, that's the qualification match. And right off the kickoff, Havoc Red will score another one. So it's looking like now, even though game one was an overtime win for Havoc Red with honestly, Unicorn Huntress, he was one of the few people in Havoc history as an academy player to have a chance to win a game against a main league team, and he ended up just being right off the post. And he had another opportunity later in that game that just wasn't able to finish it. So Unicorn Huntress definitely going to be thinking about that one, about how he was so close to winning game number one for his team. But hopefully his teammates can keep his head in the right mental and realize that, hey, no matter what happens this series, they're going to do their best. And there we go. Predude finds his way into the back of the net, and that's going to be goal number one for Havoc Pink, as they're now going to be trying to fight their way back in game number two. Here we go, folks. Havoc Pink looking to fight it back. Hopefully it's not another kickoff goal. And yes, they will not get kickoff goal again. But here we go. Ball out to the side. Here comes Awash. Awash to Predude. Predude to Unicorn Huntress. Unicorn Huntress puts it off the sidewall. It'll be followed up now by Tricky. Tricky, can he get the beat? No. And honestly, we haven't said Tricky's name much this series. He's normally the player that we expect to be 1v3ing teams. Of course, that is in Academy. He's 1v3ing teams. But normally you expect to see the same play style come out no matter what team you play against. Right now, we haven't really seen Tricky with the same mental, but a great demo on the back line will open up the empty net, and Havoc Red have found the back of the net once again. That's what we like to see, ladies and gentlemen. Havoc Red showing off why they are playing for the championship spot. Havoc Red, they have made both of the last top 8s, and they want to join Final Four White as the only other team to do that, to try and make it to championships. Now, Digital Threat, they actually had a really good series. They ended up going to Game 7 against Havoc Orange in the top 4 of Split 2. And they are also going to be looking to make it to the championships. And that will be the big question. And that will be whoever wins this game will be playing against Digital Threat in the semifinals. Excuse me, winning this series, excuse me. So here we go. Ball bounces out mid. Havoc Pink still looking for more opportunities to score. Bounces out mid. Sprague tries to get a dunk to keep it on the offensive end. Now back out at the side wall. Pinched out now. Taken away by Predude as he sends the ball down the pitch. Tricky, though, can't get to the ball first. Back over to Unicorn Huntress. Unicorn Huntress down to Tricky. Tricky ends up popping it straight above his net. Triple commit, it looks like, from Havoc Pink, but they do manage to clear the ball. At the end of the day, getting a triple committing is not the end of the world as long as somebody gets a solid hit. And it looks like, sadly, for Havoc Pink, that's going to be another goal in the back of the net. Minute and a half left to go, and honestly, Havoc Pink, they're definitely not looking as confident as they were after game 1, which of course is expected. But if Havoc Pink really wanted to try and come back in the series, if having to reverse sweep is definitely going to be an uphill battle. So Havoc Pink, they can definitely do it, but unlike an academy where you can maybe afford to lose 2 games in a row to try and come back, Havoc Pink, they had to take game 1 or game 2 if they really want an opportunity to try and win this series. Or at least that's what it feels like. Havoc Pink, at the end of the day, they are champions. They have experience winning in even the most dire of situations. So let's see if they can fix up their mental, and even if they're not able to win this game, win the next one. Here we go. And there we go. Tricky finally finds the ball in the back of the net, trying to wake up his own mechanics, his own confidence. And look at that. That's actually a really fantastic goal there from Tricky. No one on Havoc Red able to fly for that ball. And now it's going to be Havoc Pink looking to try and fight their way back. Ball back up now to Pre-Dude. Pre-Dude tries to get a 50, keeping it on the offensive end. Now we're back over to Unicorn Huntress. I really want to see Unicorn Huntress get a goal here, at least at the end of the game. Rebuild up that confidence that he may have lost after missing the empty nets in the overtime last game. Tricky, though. He'll send the ball down the pitch. Unicorn Huntress looking for a dunk. He's not able to get there, though. Pre-Dude has to get the 50. And Pre-Dude, he's honestly done really well reading a lot of these high aerial plays. That time, he ends up not being able to get the best of 50s, and his teammate ends up getting scored on. But even then, we can see he's not getting dusted to the ball. And that's something that I think a lot of people don't really respect about Pre-Dude, is even though he doesn't look mechanical, he's extremely smart. He knows where the ball's going. His base mechanics are there. Now, is he super flashy? Not necessarily, but he is at least able to get to the ball when he needs to. And Tricky, he fakes it under. Can he get the reset goal? That almost was a very fantastic goal from Tricky. And so far, the only flashy goal we'll have seen from Havoc Pink in this game is a really insane redirect touch on the own goal by Pre-Dude. But we're now going to be going to game number 3 to determine who will end up winning this game, win this series, excuse me. Havoc Red looking to sweep, and Havoc Pink looking to have to reverse sweep after this game. Now, remember that game 1 was in overtime. Don't let the scoreline of 7-2 tell you that Havoc Pink aren't able to win in this series. I think they are definitely able to win this series. Of course, it is a very big uphill battle, but game 1 wasn't overtime, so they can try and find at least if they can score first in game 3. I think that'll be their best opportunity to win this series. But here we go again. Look at that, and it's Unicorn Huntress at the bottom of the scoreboard, of course. Bottom of the scoreboard. Even then, I think he's gonna have to reset his mental and prepare for game number 3, because we have to remember, Havoc, no matter what, Havoc Red, they may be on the verge of winning right here. They might be on the verge of winning this series, but no matter what, they're still under the pressure of being a team to lose to an academy team. There's not a lot of main league teams that have lost to an academy team before, even in just games. They definitely don't want to be another one to that tally. On to Sovereign Heights we go. Havoc Pink looking to try and win this. Looks like Pre-Dude is finding new methods to play with confidence going into game number 3. And for those of you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, make sure to check the Twitch chat. But here we go, folks. On to game number 3. And it looks like we're waiting on one player to join. Looks like someone may have disconnected. Looks like it's Unicorn Huntress. So we'll be waiting here for just a second. And it looks like he finally is back in the lobby. It literally was just a second, and now he's back. Let's see how this game is going to end up going. Here we go. Looks like the players for some reason needed to be told again that they can join. And there we go. Yeah, so what I tell everybody when I'm doing production is I only tell people for game 1 when to join. But after that, they can pretty much just join teams whenever they're ready at that point. But here we go. Ball pinched out to the side, and Awash will get the goal. And I did say if Havoc Pink want to win this next game, they have to score first. So it's definitely not looking good for them, but it is just one goal. Hopefully they realize it's just one goal. It's definitely possible to still win this game, but it's definitely, as I said, going to be a very big uphill battle. And there we go. Sprag will end up putting that one in the back of the net as well. And there we go. And again, it's looking like Pink not looking as confident. Look at that. And even though I said that it might be very nerve-wracking for Havoc Red, it's looked like they won the first 2 games. They're on match point. They're taking this as an opportunity to play with extra confidence. They can afford to lose a game now. I think that's their mindset. They realize that, hey, there's no point putting extra pressure on themselves, that they have to stay, that they have to sweep an academy team. And now that they've relieved some of that pressure, it looks like they might actually complete the sweep against the academy team. So definitely a really good mindset change from Havoc Red. But the game's still not over. Still literally only 30 seconds off the clock. Unicorn Huntress, he will fly up for that ball. He's not able to get there, though. Back over now to Tricky. Tricky gets the beat on that one. Now we're back over to Sprag. Sprag down the pitch to Awash. Awash not able to get the touch he wants, though. Pre-dude back out middle to Alley. The Tricky. Tricky pops the ball in a spot where he can follow it. He does get the 50 as well. Can he get the second 50? He ends up leaving it for Unicorn Huntress, but neither one of them are able to get the touch they want. But a great flick from Predude. Almost gets the ball past Awash, but look at that. The captain, Awash, managing to keep the ball in the offensive end after a great read. Unicorn Huntress getting the beat over 1. Now out to the sidewall is Awash. Awash to Predude. Predude, can he get the beat? He's not able to get the beat in that situation. And now it'll be Alley taking the ball back to his own side of the pitch, leaving it for Sprag. He ends up missing this touch, though, and a great demo that might have opened up the box here. The touch off the backboard is Sprag, but it's going to set up Predude, who gets the beat. It's off the backboard, and Unicorn Huntress can't find it, but Tricky keeps it in. Unicorn Huntress, can he turn? It's an empty net, Tricky! What are you doing? That was Unicorn Huntress's chance to get the game back within 1. Tricky balls his own player. That was it for Havoc Pink. That was a chance to bring it back within 1. Let's see if Tricky can redeem himself after that one. Oh my, that was opportunity for Unicorn Huntress, and everyone probably saying, well, what if Unicorn Huntress didn't call for the ball? At the end of the day, you have to be good enough at this game to know whose ball is what. Comms are there for confidence. They're there for information. But at the end of the day, they should have still known. Tricky should have still known that was Unicorn Huntress's ball all day long. And oh my, maybe that is that confidence. Maybe the comm for the confidence was all he needed. But oh my goodness, another goal for Predude. And it looks like the series isn't just over. Unlike game 3 in the last series, where it was a missed 0-second goal and Rosita were knocked out. Predude, the captain of Havoc Pink. Oh, captain, my captain. Puts the ball in the back of the net and brings this game back to a 1-goal deficit. And now he's going to be looking to try and take his team to the next level. But is it a little too late? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. And this is, and also for those of you guys who did not watch the Academy League, oh my goodness, Awash puts that in. I didn't expect the goal right off the bat, but the Season 7 MVP was indeed Predude. So if you're a fan of Predude, he was awarded MVP for the entire Season 7 for the Academy League. So a big shout out to Predude. Congratulations on being the MVP for the entirety of Season 7. But sadly, he is now going to have to try and be here at MVP, try to help carry his team, carry their mentals, and get them to a spot where they can try to tie up game number 3. He brought it back within 1, but then they got scored on pretty much right off the bat. Let's see if they can bring it back within 1 at minimum once again. That's going to be a miss on the defensive side. Predude cuts back in, trying to make it awkward for the opponents. Tricky ends up getting dunked by Alley. That's the one big thing you notice, just because of the rank disparity in this rank. Because, for example, we've seen Havoc Red play this game before, but they look nowhere near as confident as they do now. And that's sometimes where, if you know your opponent's skill level, or you know they're better, it can be for the worse in regards to you're nervous, maybe games 1 and 2. But if you end up getting on match point, your confidence is through the roof at that point. And right now, we're going to see if Havoc Pink can break through that confidence and show up to win this game. Here we go. Ball bounces out to the middle, and Alley will put the ball back in. Every time I take a moment to breathe, that's when Havoc Red choose to put a great shot on target. Unicorn Huntress, he got the initial save, but since he wasn't able to clear it out to the side, it's just a pinch back in. And folks, it looks like that game 1 may have been the opportunity. And I do believe the one time an Academy team did go to match point against a main league team, I believe the main league team actually reverse swept the academy team. So, of course, game 1 is a very important game when you are the underdog. We've seen it many times before. I mean, Power, they ended up sweeping G2, right? If they didn't end up winning that, if they didn't sweep, maybe some people would have seen G2 at the Fall Major coming back to win that. Maybe the same instance with Quadrant, but Power ended up sweeping both of those teams. But here we go. That might be an empty net. Tricky can't find the back of the net. Oh my. But it looks like that game is all, looks like this game might be all but over at this point, folks. But right after this, we will have our semi-final series, our qualification match. So if you thought these first 2 series were a little bit tame, of course, I know the Academy fans probably were nervous going throughout the games that were very, very close. But for everyone else who are a main league fan, they now see that main league is still on top. They are going to be, oh, that might be so close to that being a goal there. But right after this, we're going to be having Digital Threat versus Havoc Red. Whoever wins this semi-final will be going to the championships next week. And then, of course, there'll be a grand final after this to see who wins the last chance qualifier playing for that seeding. But GG's to them. But here we go. That's it for today, ladies and... Excuse me, that's it for that round. Not it for today. That's it for the quarterfinals for today, ladies and gentlemen. And when we come back, we are going to be seeing the likes of Digital Threat face off against Havoc Red. Now, we might have a little bit longer of a break, just because we do want to make sure that one team's not going in too early. And there we go. Pre-dude, of course, with the great lines as per usual. But thank you guys so much for showing up. But we're gonna be right back. See you guys in a bit. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back here to the Havoc Esports Last Chance Qualifier. And I'm your host, HVC Luke, and we've just had a fantastic set of quarterfinal matches. But now is time for the qualification matches, the actual qualification matches right now. So, just to let you all know what is happening. Right now, we have 2 best-of-7s happening simultaneously. One on twitch.tv/AzrielHV, where you can see Havoc Sapphire versus Aura Esports playing for the qualification match to make it to championships over there. Here, we'll have Digital Threat versus Havoc Red for this qualification match. Both of them will be best-of-7s, winner of which will and whoever wins both of them will be the 2 teams going to championships. And then right after this, we'll have a grand final for seeding, where these teams will try and avoid getting second, because if they get second, they'll play against Havoc Gold in the first round. But here we go, folks. That's it for what we have to talk about now. Let's get the players in the lobby, and let's get started in game number 1 of this best-of-7 semi-final. Here we go. And the players are here, the players are in. Let's see how this match ends up going. Here we go. So this is definitely going to be an interesting series. I do not recall if these teams have played each other in the past. If they have, I believe the results were due to a forfeit, not due to an actual playing of the match. Whereas Digital Threat, they were a Game 7 win off of making top 2 in the Split 2 playoffs. Whereas Havoc Red have made both top 8s, but are yet to have made a top 4 in any tournament. So Havoc Red, they definitely feel like they are destined to make a top 4 at some point. But in order to do that, they definitely will probably feel like they have to win this match, but then also win the grand finals for seeding as well. Both these so it feels like every single team that's been on the stream tonight, I have coached at some point recently. All these teams are planning to improve to the best of their ability, but let's see which team is able to put what was taught to them in practice into the actual game. So far, both these teams tied 0-0. Now, we do have to remember, Havoc Red, they recently just came off of a win, so they are just a little bit warmed up, whereas Digital Threat, they might feel just maybe they feel confident because they didn't have to play at the first quarterfinal. They just go straight to the semifinal, the qualification match. Now, some people may prefer the warm-up match, whereas some teams might prefer the fact that they just got to play one match to qualify. Let's see which team is able to execute on this. Ball does get popped out mid. Allie will get the save out to the side. Now it's up to Awash to try and get possession here. Awash gets the ball around one. Allie will try to fit to the second man, but now it's going to be up to Sprag to get this ball to the offensive end. He'll succeed in doing so, but let's see if he can try and get a pass out to a teammate. Ball bounces precariously in front of the net for Havoc Red, but Digital Threat will end up keeping that one out. Let's see if they can continue to do so. Ball back out middle. Now it's going to be over to Digital Threat. They're looking for their first goal. Very similar to Game 1 from Havoc Red and Havoc Pink. It's very low scoring. We did see 4 goals in the very first minute of the game, but then it went to being a tied game for the most part, all the way to that overtime. And now we're going to be trying to see if these two teams, which one will have it takes to break the deadlock. Here we go. Just a little shout out to Hawkster. Thank you so much for the Prime sub earlier. I believe it was a Prime sub. It was a subscription either way, shape, or form. So thank you so much for the sub supporting Havoc Esports. And Camo is going to thank Havoc Red for allowing him to get the first goal. Here we go. Corrupt from the pass from 2 Freezy sends the ball down the pitch, and Camo's able to put it right in the back of the empty net. And that will be another goal on the board for Digital Threat. Excuse me, the first goal on the board for this last chance qualifier for Digital Threat. And it's the captain and Camo who ends up putting it there. Camo sets the ball off the backboard. Now be over to 2 Freezy. 2 Freezy puts it off the backboard as well. Now, one thing we do have to remember about Havoc Red is normally they're a team that doesn't get sweeps. They were able to get wins in the past off of sweeps, but there's only been one time in the past they're able to do that. So they were able to sweep the Academy team, which they must be happy about. But right now, they're thinking about Digital Threat. Havoc Red, they're normally known for it to be a team that they normally win their series no matter who they're playing against, but it's always in Game 4, Game 5. So if Game 1 does end up going to Digital Threat, I wouldn't say it's automatically favored for Digital Threat to win. But here we go. Digital Threat ends up getting scored on this time. And a Havoc Red off the pass from Awash ends up going straight to Sprag. Brilliant goal there as well. Looks like some people don't know what the word precariously means. But, you know, we do got a thing called a Google. Always a good time to learn. Ball gets back over to Camo. Camo trying to maintain possession. Looking for the beat, and that will be a great passing play from Digital Threat right before the final minute. And look at this here, Camo, he takes his time, takes possession, back over to Camo, and then he goes for the bump as well, leaving Corrupt a completely empty net. That's what we want to see. Here we go. Ball to the back, to the ceiling, to Allie. Allie ends up putting the side wall. Back over now to Corrupt, as he's now going to be flying through the air. He ends up getting a bump as well. Corrupt, it looks like we have found the type of solo plays that Corrupt likes to go for. He likes to start a solo play, start an air dribble, and then leave it for a bump and allow a teammate to come in to try and put a powerful shot on target. That's a really solid play that a lot more pros nowadays are actually trying to do as well. We do, of course, see some passes and everything like that, and that's going to be a passing play right into the back of the net. And Digital Threat, it looks like they're going to be the favorites to take game number 1. Now, something to keep in mind, Digital Threat, they have played one best-of-7 before, and they lost it in Game 7. So they do have experience in a best-of-7, but they also have experience losing a best-of-7, whereas Havoc Red, at least in the Havoc League, they have never played in a best-of-7. They've only gotten top 8. The quarterfinals have been always best-of-5. Now, I will tell you guys, next week, the quarterfinals will be best-of-7. All 4 quarterfinals of the championship will be taking place on Friday. And there'll still be 2 streams, but 2 quarterfinal best of 7s per stream. And then the semifinals and grand finals will both be taking place on Saturday next week. So a lot of matches up next week, all best of 7s, except for the grand final. The grand finals, of course, are going to be a best of 3, best of 5 set, as all the grand finals in Main League have been, to see who truly is the winner. But here we go, folks. Digital Threat going to end up winning that first game. They do so in a fantastic fashion as well. But now, we're going to be going over to game number 2 to see if Havoc Red can start the comeback here in this best of 7. For some reason, my mind keeps thinking best of 5, so if I end up picking the wrong map in the rotation later, it's why, but it is a best of 7, and no matter what, we'll see who ends up being the better team in 7. Well, assuming that this does go to 7 anyway. Of course, it could go to 6. Digital Threat, though, they've already been to 1 best of 7. I wouldn't be surprised if they go to another one. The players are in. We're ready to go. On to Beckwith Park Stormy. Here we go. Sprag puts that ball out mid to Allie. Allie now touching it out to Corrupt. Corrupt sending it down the pitch to Camo. Camo to Corrupt, and that will be a goal. Digital Threat scoring first once again. And I do believe, to answer the question in the chat about the decal, I know nothing about decals, but I do believe FOD was used in the previous game. I think there was a card change, but I'm not sure. Here we go. Ball back out to the ceiling. Now over to Corrupt. Corrupt ends up getting beat on that one. We now sent to Awash. Awash ends up getting beat. Back to Sprag. He can't find the goal, though. Now back into the hands of Awash. Awash trying to maintain possession. He's not able to get there. Now back out to the middle. Do Freezy. Pops the ball out mid. Awash does get the touch he needs this time. And we'll now be back over to Sprag. Now, I will say I really do love Awash's car. I've never seen that decal, or I don't remember seeing that decal before anyway. And it seems like just a pretty clean car. Ball will get sent up to Allie. He puts the ball off the backboard. Great demo in the back of the net. Might open up some time and space for the side of Havoc Red. But Digital Threat, I think they've learned from their best of 7 match against Havoc Orange. And now they're looking to try and not go to 7. They're looking to try to win this series as early as possible. Although we do have to remember, I believe games 1 and 2 were taken by Digital Threat, and Havoc Orange managed to come back and win that series, even though Digital Threat were up in the series the entire time, except for that Game 7 win. But look at that. Allie coming in at the last second, puts the ball on target. And I think you can see just the difference that the main league teams have when they're playing against other main league teams. You can definitely see there's a lot more respect from the main league teams, whereas for the academy teams, I think the academy teams earned some respect, and now they're going to be playing in main league next season, looking to try and really show up next season when it comes down to it. But the ball will get 50 mid. Now down to Allie. Allie gets put off the backboard. Now over to the hands of Awash. Awash ends up getting beat to 2 Freezy. 2 Freezy to Sprag. Sprag ends up losing the 50 though. And we'll now be back over to Allie to try and get the ball to the offensive end. He ends up getting demoed. Now it's up to Camo. Camo fakes it. Awash with a brilliant read. Awash had a couple of brilliant reads in the previous series. And he continues on with them in this best of 7. Allie ends up missing that ball. And Sprag will clear the ball down the pitch. Looking for the Infinidash. Actually, he succeeds in doing the Infinidash. We're seeing more and more players at lower and lower ranks get better at the Infinidash. I remember whenever the Infinidash wasn't possible to be doing super consistently, I still tried to work it into my game. Although that was when Infinidash was thought to have only been possible with Power Slide and Free Arrow. Which, of course, you don't get a lot of control, but it's still possible to utilize it. Whereas now, it's completely possible to utilize the Infinidash in-game at your disposal for the most part. And so many pros have gotten good at it. Myself, I really enjoy Infinidashing. And now we're seeing even main league level players that aren't at the SSL level doing it as well. Do Freezy pops the ball high in the air above his net. It's now up to Camo to try and save his teammates, but the ball bounces out mid. Chance for Sprag, and the striker in Sprag puts it into the back of the net. Sprag always been known somewhat for his striking, and he will end up putting the ball in the back of the net this time for his team. Let's see if it can continue doing this going forward. Ball bounces out to the side. Now back over to the hands of Digital Threat as they're now trying to put some aggression in the offensive end. They end up giving it away, though, and Awash will be the one to get the ball to the offensive end. Ali looking for the shot. It will be saved by 2Freezy at the end of it. But still, so much pressure from Havoc Red, and they will find another goal. Havoc Red continuing to look better and better as this series has gone on. And they tend to do that every series they play in. They tend to get better every single series we see them in, and they're, once again, trying to show off that they are a good, solid team. There's a reason why Havoc Red have made both of the last top 8s. Now over to Ali. Ali can't get the ball that he needs. And now we'll be back over to Sprag. Sprag gets a great dunk. But now it's going to be in the hands of Camo. Camo ends up getting bumped. And now be sent over to Awash. Awash now down to the side. Pinched over to the side by Camo. Camo to Sprag. Sprag looking for possession here. He ends up not being able to get the touch he wants. But with a minute 18 left on the clock, we've had a complete switch around as to how Game 1 went. Now, Game 1 and Game 2, they both started with Digital Threat scoring first, but instead of it going to a 3-1 win for Digital Threat, it looks like we might be seeing a 3-1 win from Havoc Red, and that's going to be a miss. That looked like a potential empty net miss that Digital Threat had, but they still end up putting it in the back of the net. They just maybe took an extra touch more than necessary. And now, Havoc Red going to have to try and hold the lead in the final minute of play. Awash wins that one. Wins the kickoff, but it ends up going straight to Corrupt, which, in my opinion, honestly, I would consider that a lost kickoff if it's a giveaway possession. And the giveaway possession off the kickoff will result in Camo getting the goal. Look at this from Corrupt. Again, Corrupt, every single time he gets an opportunity, he goes straight into the air dribble. And that time he didn't intentionally get a bump on a player, but that's just going to be a straight-up miss from Havoc Red. And now, tied game with 55 seconds to go. Havoc Red, hopefully they're able to hold their nerve if they want to keep their season alive. 2Freezy pops the ball up high to Awash. Awash to Ali. Ali to Awash. Awash ends up getting beat out by Corrupt, and Sprag now going to try and maintain possession. Ball back out to Awash. Awash trying to maintain possession. Ends up pitching out to the side for Sprag. Sprag not able to get the goal. Now be into the air. Here comes Ali, looking to try and be the hero for Havoc Red. We're now nearing the final 20 seconds and now reach the final 20 seconds of game number 2's regulation. Havoc Red not wanting to go to overtime. Ball to the backboard. Corrupt going to be looking to try and take the ball here, but Awash gets the dunk. Going to be looking for a pass out mid. Not able to get it. Now Ali, as last man back, has to get a solid touch. Ends up giving away the ball, but it's at 0 seconds. The ball will touch the ground. And ladies and gentlemen, for the second time, Havoc Red have found an overtime in this tournament. Excuse me. Sprag looking to push this ball forward, looking to try and get the dunk on the backboard, not able to succeed in getting the touch. Will now be over to Ali. Ali looking for the pinch, ends up pinching back to his own side of the pitch though. Let's see if Havoc Red can get the touch. Sprag misses. It's off the post and in, and Sprag with a sad miss will allow Digital Threat to get the win. Sad ending for Havoc Red, but Digital Threat going to find themselves in the exact same situation as the Split 2 playoffs, where they ended up going up in the first 2 games against Havoc Orange. But luckily for Havoc Red, not only are they known for making it close series and having comeback victories, Digital Threat are also known for throwing a 2-game lead as well in a best-of-7. So let's see if Havoc Red can hold their nerve, because if Digital Threat end up going up 3-0 in this series, it will definitely not be a very easy game for Havoc Red to come back. They'd have to reverse sweep in a best-of-7 to come back in this last chance qualifier. But now we're going to be going over to Sovereign Heights. Let's see which team has what it takes to win this game 3. Will Digital Threat bring it to match point, unlike against Havoc Orange this early? Or will Havoc Red do what they always do and have a late series comeback to bring it to 7? Let's see. Or at least bring it to 6. Here we go. The players have joined. Let's get started here. Game number 3. Havoc Red looking to try and redeem himself from throwing away that last game. And look at that, right off the bat, we're going to see 5 seconds in, Havoc Red managed to get the kickoff goal. Ali with a great 50, and Awash with even better read of the situation, gets the beat there. If Awash just tried to react to Ali's hit, it may not have been a goal, but he read and knew exactly where that 50 was going to go and got to the ball first. Ball pinches up high into the air. Corrupt puts the ball off the backboard. Will now be out in the hands of Awash. Awash looking for the beat, gets the win on that 50-50, but can his teammate get to the ball first? Sprag barely gets the touch. He's trying, and right now Sprag's trying to redeem himself from that last game. It was a relatively easy hit that he ended up missing, and it resulted in the overtime goal for Digital Threat. So let's see if Havoc Red has what it takes to reset, not only reset as a team, but get Sprag in the right mental, and Awash will find another goal. And Digital Threat, very similar to the series against Havoc Orange in the best of 7, getting dominated early on in Game 3. Luckily for Digital Threat, though, it's only been 31 seconds, so there's a lot of time to come back in this game, should they be able to hold their nerve. Ball pinches out to Ali. Ali out to the middle, and Corrupt will try and send that ball down to 2 Freezy. 2 Freezy now over to Corrupt. We're starting to see the passing plays come back into fruition. Well, now be back to 2 Freezy. 2 Freezy ends up getting beat out by Awash, and will now be taken by Sprag. Sprag out of Camo. Camo trying to maintain possession. Gets the beat pass on, setting up Corrupt. Corrupt, though, can't get the touch he wants, but Camo loses the 50 right back to 2 Freezy. And Awash with a solid 50 will keep the ball out of harm's way. Ali ends up missing that ball, and now it's going to be up to Sprag to try and maintain possession. He gets the ball into his corner, but a great dunk from 2 Freezy will keep the ball on the offensive end, at least just for the moment. And an even better follow-up from Corrupt will succeed in helping Digital Threat keep the offensive end. Camo, or excuse me, 2 Freezy, not able to find the back of the net. Now over to the backboard. Sprag gets dunked straight to Corrupt. Corrupt can't find the shot, ends up misreading that one. Now over to Awash. Awash to 2 Freezy. 2 Freezy down to Corrupt. Corrupt looking for the counter, but it's going to be way off target. A great bump, though, is going to set up 2 Freezy. He's looking to try to get the ball onto the net himself. He somehow managed to hit every bar on that goal. Oh, my goodness. He hit one post, hit the crossbar, and then hit the other post as well. But there we go. 2 Freezy. Of course, he couldn't take the empty net. He had to make sure that it was a good, high-flying goal. And I think for some, I mean, that might even be considered an empty net. But that definitely should be a save from Havoc Red on any other day of the week. Ball ends up pinching out to the side. Havoc Red, they threw away the lead in the last game, and now they're going to look to try and regain the 2-goal lead that they had earlier on. A great demo from Corrupt. May have bought some much-needed time for Digital Threat to try and reset and get the ball out of their own half. Fake there from Camo, buys some time. And will now be, the ball gets cleared in the defensive corner for Digital Threat. They haven't been able to break the ball out of their own half since the goal. And now it looks like Camo will finally get the clear. Ball back over. Ali gets dunked by Camo. Camo leaves it for 2 Freezy. It's off the backboard. Follow up from Corrupt, and that will be an empty net miss. 2 Freezy out to the middle. And there we go. Somehow, all these teams, whenever I take a moment to breathe, that's when they choose to score. And 2 Freezy gets the beat over 1 and back over to Camo. That will be a fantastic goal there. And Digital Threat, once again, tie up the game. Last time, they ended up winning in overtime. And right now, they have the potential to still win in regulation after the comeback. Whereas Havoc Red, they still have to reset their mental just a little bit. Ball back over to Ali. Ali trying to maintain possession. Not able to get there, though. Now, to the side, to Corrupt. Corrupt back to Ali. Ali ends up getting the win on that one. But it goes straight to 2 Freezy. He's looking to try and get the way past the entire team. Not able to do that there, though. And Awash will have to kick this ball out to the side wall. Sprag, can he get the dunk? No. 2 Freezy actually dunked him. Now 2 Freezy trying to softly pass the ball mid. He gets a teammate to jump, but then ball does get cleared out by Havoc Red. Back to 2 Freezy. 2 Freezy. Back to Ali. Ali ends up putting that ball over to the side wall. Back to Corrupt. Corrupt. Now down to Sprag. Sprag, can he get the touch? No, not able to do so. Will now be in the hands of 2 Freezy. 2 Freezy gets beat. Back to Ali. Ali gets beat. Ball's going to be off the backboard. Now with less than a minute and a half left to go, Havoc Red still yet to score, as right now the series looks to be in complete swing, or the game, excuse me, looks to be in complete swing. As Havoc Red, they scored the first 2 goals, but finally, after the tied game from Digital Threat, Havoc Red extend the lead again. Let's see if they can hold it this time. We have a couple Havoc Red fans in chat, but they weren't able to maintain the lead this last time. Let's see if they've learned from their past mistakes. Camo wins the kickoff, but ends up ceding possession to Ali, who ends up giving the ball right back to the other team. Luckily for Havoc Red, the ball gets hit out right to Awash. Should I miss from 2 Freezy? Might open up the goal there, but Camo is going to be there. Camo gets a dunk as well. Then Awash should be able to get the save. Oh, no! Awash, own goals. It's definitely not as clean as Predude's goal in the previous series, but Awash going to slot that one almost top right corner. But Havoc Red back to a tied game. And they're definitely not going to be happy about an own goal like that. Ball gets pinched out to the back corner. Now over to Ali. Ali not able to get the touch that he wants. It'll set up Sprag. Sprag now down to Ali. Ali going to send it up for Awash. Awash taking his time, looking for the possession. Flicks it over 1. Tries to get the bump on Corrupt, but Corrupt is just too solid right now with those mechanics. Now back to Sprag. Sprag ends up getting demoed after finding himself the touch. Now back over to Camo, looking to try and pass the ball to the other side of the pinch. And 2 Freezy will end up taking that one. 2 Freezy hits it right in the Sprag, but a pass back to Awash. Awash looking for the shot. Awash might be able to turn on this again. He's going to set up the solo play here. Flicks the ball over 1. Setting up, actually, it looked like he was setting up Sprag there for a second. Just not able to find the goal. Ali looking to try and solo play it past the entire team. He actually passes it back to Awash. Awash setting up this teammate on the backboard, and Sprag puts it in. 3 seconds to go, and Havoc Red have taken the lead. If they aren't able to maintain this one, then oh my, I don't know what Havoc Red will do if they aren't able to maintain this lead. Here we go. Corrupt wins the kickoff. Ball finds itself in the air. Let's see if Digital Threat can keep the ball in the air. Ball does get popped up. Can they keep it in the air even longer? It's on the curve, and the ball will touch the ground. Havoc Red gonna take their first game in the best of 7. Here we go. Digital Threat, it looks like we might be seeing a similar series to the last time we saw them in a best of 7. They win the first 2 games, and if the pattern's anything to go by, we'll see them lose this next game as well, bring it back to a tied series. But Havoc Red, maybe all they needed was just a singular win to build them some confidence against a team they respect a lot more than, say, the Academy team they played earlier tonight. And there we go. Havoc Red versus Digital Threat. Back to a 1-game series. Let's see which team has what it takes, though, to bring it home. Digital Threat playing for match point, and Havoc Red looking to tie. Let's see which team is able to do what they want to accomplish. And right off the bat, Digital Threat going to find themselves scoring first. That's what we want to see from Digital Threat. They're continuing to look their best. And it's going to be Digital Threat that's going to end up being on the board first. So just a special note from the other semifinal. It looks like Havoc Sapphire are actually in the lead in the best of 7. They are currently winning. They're currently winning 2 games to 1 in the series. Ball gets bounced out. Let's see what happens here. Ball gets pinched out to the side. Now it's going to be over to Corrupt. Corrupt taking this ball into the offense, taking it back to his own half, excuse me. And will now be Corrupt getting his pass from 2 Freezy. 2 Freezy getting the pass from him. Look at that pre-flip! Digital Threat with the 2-goal lead early on in game number 4. And look at this, folks. That pass, the other pass, the pre-flip shot. Digital Threat showing up once again. They may have lost to Havoc Orange after going up by 2 and then getting tied back up, bringing it to just a normal best of 3. But right now, they're looking to try and take it to match point. They're going to want to make it. So if Havoc Red are to make the championships, they're going to have to try and win 3 games in a row. And right now, Digital Threat, they do not want to let that happen. And Camo will end up getting the goal there. Look at that, folks. Camo managing to get another goal on the board. And again, these players looking extremely solid, but Digital Threat looking just that little bit better. Camo looking for the possession. Gets the flip reset. Tries to pass it mid, setting up 2Freezy. 2Freezy plays it slow, but ends up not being able to get the touch he wants. Now it's going to be Corrupt. His last man back has to get the possession. He ends up leaving the boost for a teammate, but it looks like Ali may have gotten the boost steal, which I believe is what indeed happened. And now it'll be Ali trying to keep the ball on the offensive end. That one boost steal allowed him to stay on offense for just that little bit longer, but a great dunk from Digital Threat is going to allow them to start the counteroffensive on their own. Corrupt back middle to Camo, back to Corrupt. Corrupt with a shot, and a goal! Look at the passing play from Digital Threat. Look at this, Corrupt to Camo to Corrupt, and that's going to be the goal. Look at the shot. Nobody on Havoc Red reading where any of those passes were going, and to be honest, it just looked like sitting ducks. And that, folks, is why you have to actively read what is happening. Because right there, I saw the pass coming from a mile away, but none of the 3 defenders for Havoc Red were able to read it. But Sprag will bring it back within 3. Of course, Havoc Red, they might put their all into trying to tie up this game. They still have a lot of time on the board, and they definitely do not want to have to win 3 games in a row. They're going to be trying every single game to come back. 3.5 minutes to go. Still a lot of time. Over a minute to score 1 goal. Over a minute, so 1 goal a minute, of course. Over a minute to score 1 goal apiece. But here we go. Ali managed to win that 50. Back over to Camo. Camo now down to Awash. Awash loses that 50 back to Sprag. Sprag ends up getting beat out by 2Freezy as 2Freezy's looking to try and set up the play for his team. And now I'll be back over to Awash. Awash tries to send that ball down the pitch. Ends up just being a giveaway possession, but actually no one on Digital Threat wanted to turn for it. That's going to be Ali. Back to Sprag. Sprag can't get the beat. And now be back in the hands of Awash. Awash now down to Corrupt. Corrupt can't get the beat. And I'll be back over to Ali. Ali ends up missing that one, though. Be back over to Sprag. Sprag to Awash. Awash gets beat. Now down to Corrupt. Corrupt looking for the flick. Now back up to the side is Ali. Ali to 2Freezy. And 2Freezy looking to send the ball forward. Back over to Camo. Camo puts it off the backboard, and now be followed up here by 2Freezy. 2Freezy loses it. Back to Corrupt. Corrupt looking for the shot, and still held at 3 is Digital Threat. Is now Sprag looking to start the counter offensive. Now over to Ali. Ali gets a great dunk on that 50. Sprag tries to fly for it, but he's getting completely beat. We're starting to see Havoc Red. They're looking a lot more nervous. Instead of reading where the ball's going, seeing they're getting beat, they're reacting to a lot of what's happening, just hoping that they can follow a ball and get a good shot on target. But right now, Digital Threat, they're the ones reading the play. They're the ones playing with confidence. And right now, oh my goodness, look at that beat. That confidence right there. And they almost get a goal off of it as well. But a great counterattack. This might be a goal. Awash looking to flick it over. Gets a 50 out the backboard. Follow up from Sprag, and a great beat from Camo. Every time Havoc Red have had a close opportunity, they just aren't able to finish it out. Ball back over now to the corner. And actually, funnily enough, 2Freezy, I believe, was in the last chance qualifier. He ended up playing against Havoc Pink, the main league Havoc Pink last season. And they ended up getting knocked out, I believe, 4-1. I believe they got knocked out in that last chance qualifier. And now he's on Digital Threat looking to try and make the championships for the very first time. Completely different team, completely different organization. But right now, they're looking to he's trying to look to redeem himself from that last semifinal. He's definitely improved a lot, and he's trying to show that here. Final minute of play, and he manages to get another goal on the board. 5-1 lead. And they're continuing to look fantastic. I'll see if I can update you all whenever I can on how the other semifinal is going. Remember, you can check out the last chance qualifier on the other side of the bracket if you go to twitch.tv/AzrielHV. And it looks like Aura Esports, they were down in the series but are coming back. Hopefully we see them continue to fight back in a very strong way. And I'll make sure to keep the other stream open just to make sure that you guys know that, just to let y'all know how the other series is going. But right now, 5-1 lead for Digital Threat, and it looks like they will be going to match point. They're able to do what Havoc Orange, were able to stop what Havoc Orange were able to accomplish last time. And that was tying up the series after going up by 2. And Corrupt, he will put that towards his own net. And Sprague will almost find a goal there, but it looks like that these teams are starting to waste down the clock. Right after this, we're going to be going to Salty Shores Night to see if Digital Threat have what it takes to win it in 5. There we go, another goal on the board. At 1 second left, it looks like we might have a chance for the Brazil. Let's see if the Brazil ends up happening, but of course, I think both these teams, they're more worried about what's going to happen next game. Is Havoc Red going to start the comeback, or is Digital Threat going to solidify their spots in the championships? And you got to wonder, the nerves for Havoc Red. They were nervous playing against an academy team. You have to wonder how nervous they're going to be playing against the Digital Threat team, which made top 4 in the last split. Here we go. Now we're going to be going over to Salty Shores Night. On to game number 5. Digital Threat, 1 game away from solidifying their spot in the championships. Let's see if they can keep playing with confidence. Honestly, though, I don't know which one of these teams... I don't know who will end up winning this next game. Because Digital Threat, if they're able to play at the same confidence that they did that game, I think they could win it here in 5. But if they don't play at that same confidence, then it might turn into the issue where Havoc Red just might barely be able to edge them out on the mental side of things. Because Havoc Red, they're a team that's known for coming back in series, even against teams that are better than them. But in the past, it's also been the opponents they play against. They kind of fall off playing their best once they actually do get on match point. So it's definitely going to be an interesting fight here for... It's definitely going to be an interesting fight here for Havoc Red as they go into this game 5. Looks like everyone has finally readied up. We're going to be going on to Salty Shores Night now. Can Digital Threat finish it here? Or will Havoc Red be able to bring it to a game 6? And once you get to game 6, just more nerves are put on the window. Just put right into the game because of game 6. And honestly, Neo Tokyo, at least when it comes to feel, it feels just like a bigger map. It actually isn't a bigger map, of course. It's all placebo. But once you get to that game 6, all the nerves on the line, the map itself makes it look like that it's a bigger map as well. I mean, like, all it does is add to the nerves. So normally whoever wins game 5 has the advantage going into that game 6. But of course, will it even go to game 6? Because Corrupt puts it in the back of the net 18 seconds in. And there we go. Sprague puts it off his own backboard, but he's not able to maintain possession. And now we're going to have to now, I think that answered the question on the nerves of Digital Threat, as they managed to score first. And if they can keep piling on the pressure early on in this game, then Havoc Red will have a miracle necessary in front of them to win this game, let alone this series. And look at Digital Threat. It's something I want to talk about Digital Threat. They are doing just, and I talked about how I've coached both of these teams here very, very recently. And how I talked about which team can execute the ideals better. Which team has improved over the last couple of weeks more. Because I think both these teams individually are probably very similar in skill. Maybe you think that maybe you'd see Digital Threat being a little bit more mechanical. But outside of that, Sprague will end up tying the game here. Whereas Havoc Red, they seem to have a lot better chemistry. So it's a little bit more of a battle between chemistry and mechanics, it seems, at least in terms of the individual side of things. But both these teams, they've improved a lot. But right now, it does look like Digital Threat are doing slightly better on the off-ball pressure. And that's what's really giving them the edge in this series. I would love to see Havoc Red not only pick up the pressure on offense when they're off the ball, but on defense when they're rotating back, look for demos, and that's going to be another empty net. It looks like that was a missed shot from Corrupt, but they were able to get the dunk off the own goal, or the, I guess you could say, own assist, as Ali ends up hitting it right back into Corrupt. He's not able to get the save, but there we go. The bumps, just as I was talking about the off-ball pressure, more and more bumps come out from Digital Threat, helping them solidify, trying to solidify this game win. Ball back out to Awash. Awash trying to maintain his nerve. Getting that ball out of the sidewall. Camo manages to try and get a demo there, but isn't able to succeed in clipping the car. Corrupt sends the ball down the pitch. Now it's going to be up to Ali. Ali, can he get the pass out mid? Yes, he is. Ball back over now to Ali. Trying to maintain possession. Can he get the ball out mid? Yes, he gets the ball pinched off the ceiling. Follow up from Awash. Not able to get the goal, though. Sprague. Still probably thinking about the overtime being the reason they lost that overtime. This could be a completely different series if they didn't lose that game to overtime. But let's see if he's managed to regain his nerve enough to try and help his team win this game. They're only down by 1, but time continues to go down. Off the backboard, Corrupt not able to get the touch he needs. Camo puts that ball down the pitch, and Ali ends up being able to send the ball to the corner, but a shot from Too Freezy setting up Corrupt, and it's not going to be in the back of the net yet. Digital Threat starting to miss a lot more of their shots. I mean, some of their shots have been saved all series long, but they've at least been hitting the net. And right now, with the nerves that Havoc Red have to be facing, they have to be putting shots on target. This could be a completely different game at this moment in time. Ball back out to Corrupt. Corrupt ends up pitching that ball forward to Awash. Awash. Now back over to Ali. Ali gets beat. Now it's over to Too Freezy. He sends that ball, wins the 50. It's on target. Awash will get the save. Time continues to wane for Havoc Red, and they're still yet to have tied the game. Remember, Havoc Red, they have to win this game to stay alive in the series, whereas Digital Threat, they just have to win this game. They just have to win one of this or the next 2 games to move on to the championships. Ball back over now to the backboard. Follow up here from Too Freezy. Sprag gets a 50, and he managed to stay under the ball as well. Can they keep it on the offensive end? It looks like they're not able to succeed in doing so. Ball does bounce out to Corrupt. He's trying to set up his teammates off the backboard. Follow up, and Awash will clear the ball out to Ali. Can Ali get the clear? No. And now it's going to be to Sprag. Sprag gets a poor touch, but a miss from Camo. Will allow Havoc Red to breathe just a little bit. Ali loses the 50 back to Sprag. Sprag gets dunked. It's going to be up to Awash. Tries to pass the ball down the pitch, but it's going to go straight to Corrupt. Ali, can he get the ball out the field to Awash? No, but Sprag, can he do so to Awash? Awash gets a pretty clean first touch, but he's not able to follow it, not able to recover off of the touch. And now it'll be back out mid. To Sprag. Sprag to Awash. Awash trying to take his time. Can't get the touch. Ball gets sent down the pitch. Corrupt in a 1v1 against Ali. He tries to fake it. Maybe got a little too fancy, as I'm sure Havoc Red would have been just as nervous with just a normal catch and flick in that moment. Now we're back over to Corrupt. Corrupt gets beat out, so over to Sprag. Sprag ends up getting beat there. Awash ends up managing to bait out Too Freezy's miss. Great touch there from Camo, though. It's going to be up to Sprag to get the ball down the pitch. He passes it to Ali. Ali, though, gets beat. That's a Cuxer pinch, and that's a goal! Havoc Red getting stopped by the pinch of Corrupt. Look at this. Pinches the ball, and that's a no-flip pinch. That is what the Cuxer pinch really is. You double jump into the ball. Now, granted, that was really high. Maybe you could say it's a mark by 8 pinch from RLCSX, in my opinion. If you're double jumping into the ball and it's on just the sidewall itself, that's got to be a Cuxer pinch. I think mark by 8's more like in the curve of the ceiling. Maybe you could call it that, but that's going to be a 2-goal lead. Now, it looks like we might have to see a miracle from Havoc Red, and Camo will put it in. But thanks to Havoc Red, of course, for participating throughout this entire season, being a consistent thorn in the side of the top teams, and being a potential top team themselves as well. And I hope we definitely get to see them going into the next season, as well as the many public Havoc tournaments that will be happening throughout this next split. But everybody, if you are interested in Valorant, we are going to be hosting a Valorant tournament on March 19th, and if you want to sign up, you don't need to be a team. If you aren't a professional Valorant player, that's fine. We're just trying to get more and more people interested in Valorant and see how Havoc Esports tournament can go. You're running a Valorant tournament. It's a $125 tournament, and we don't know, honestly, we really don't know what the skill level of the players in that tournament will be. So if you guys are interested, I would suggest go over to do !Discord, join our Discord, or find us on social media and find the link to the tournament and participate in our Valorant tournament. Just grab 4 friends or grab your team if you have an actual team, and I think you guys would have fun participating in that. But that's it from that game, and it looks like Havoc Red's season is now over. Digital Threat cementing their spot in the grand finals of the Last Chance Qualifier, as well as their spot in the championship / main event for Havoc Esports Season 7. But everybody, that's it for the semifinals. And right now, I do believe, okay, so Havoc Sapphire actually winning 5-1 in their semifinal. I believe currently it's tied 2-2 in the best of 7. And both these teams still fighting for their spot. So if you guys do want to watch, go to twitch.tv/AzrielHV. But when we come back, we'll have the grand finals where these teams will be playing to avoid playing Havoc Gold first round next week. So you guys all in a bit. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Havoc Esports League Last Chance Qualifier. We have now found our two qualifying teams, Aura Esports and Digital Threat. Of course, on our side of things, we saw Digital Threat versus Havoc Red. Went to a Game 5. Digital Threat ended up coming out on top and looking strong compared to their last best of 7. Whereas Azriel, you were the one playing in the other semifinal. So would you mind giving us a little bit of information on how did that semifinal end up going? Yeah, for sure. I did get to see a little bit towards the end of that. I got to see the last couple of games of that series. And I wouldn't say he went out of his way to get demos, but overall, the whole team was definitely focused on demos themselves. But hold on. Apparently, we can't. They can't hear you, Azrael. Hold on. We're going to try one more time here. And here we go. Azrael, speak one more time.
I'm here now.
There we go. Now you're audible. Okay, give us a little bit more. So sorry, everybody. NA Production, yeah, in the chat, NA Production. But Azriel, give us maybe a little bit shorter of a summary than you did last time. How did that grand final end up going? I mean, semifinal. Excuse me.
Game 7, back and forth a lot. Deluxe Drew going for a lot of demos. Horizon being very quick and mechanical. Solid teams. They play really fast. So honestly, I could see it going either way.
Yeah, and it is special note, Deluxe Drew did have to sub out because they're also in another tournament right now. But they did bring in the super sub in Fungus. So we're going to get to see him play here. And remember, everybody, this is not just a seeding grand final. I mean, it is just a seeding grand final, but this is a very important one. The winner of this grand final has to play against Sloth Dark, and the loser has to play against Havoc Gold in the first round next week. So, Azrael, even if you guys ended up getting to the grand final and you guys lost, you would still have to play against S5 Cosmic and his squad. So, not necessarily the most happy first round you could get in the championships. So that's what these both teams are both playing for. So unlike last season where it didn't really matter what seeding you got in the grand finals, this season definitely really does matter. You do not want to be playing against Havoc Gold in the quarterfinals. Eventually you have to, but you don't want to face them in that first round. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get started with game number 2, and let's see how this series will end up going. And Azrael, how do you think this series will end up progressing?
You know, I think without Deluxe Drew, it will definitely be an awkward run for the first little bit, especially since Horizon and Survivor were very focused around what Deluxe Drew was doing in our series. So I think games 1 and 2 will be a little bit awkward with either them maybe winning one or losing both, like they did in our series, but they will come right back.
Yeah, and at least from my perspective, Digital Threat, they are finally looking insane. They're finally found their issues. I mean, I said it last series. I've been coaching. I've coached a bunch of teams that have shown up on stream today, from Reseda to Aura to all these different teams I've coached today. So now we're truly seeing which team took my words to heart and see how well they fully improve. And so far, Digital Threat, they have gone from a team that lost to Havoc Orange in Game 7, not looking confident, to that best of 7 last series. That was the best they've ever looked. And 2 Freezy redeeming himself from last season. I don't know if anyone remembers, but back last season, Season 6 Last Chance Qualifier, 2 Freezy and his team, S2 Orange, got knocked out in the semifinals of the Last Chance Qualifier, not making it the championships. And 2 Freezy, he stepped up in that last semifinal, really showing us how much he's improved over the last half a year for the most part now. And now he's trying to show us why he can at least win a tournament, because of course Last Chance Qualifier, it's not a full-on tournament, it's a qualification tournament if anything, but being able to win a tournament in any sense of the imagination is always very, very good to do. I mean, you get to experience what it's like to win a tournament under those nerves.
Absolutely, but here we see a goal from Survivor taking advantage of the open net as it's dropping down. Fungus has a good hit here as he forces it to 2Freezy. 2Freezy is just going to get a missed touch, and Survivor will put that one away, tying the game up 1-1.
That's what we want to see from Aura Esports. We want to see them continue on with those passes, look for the off-ball pressure. And speaking of off-ball pressure, you said last series, Deluxe Drew was the was the one who really implemented the idea of off-ball pressure into Aura Esports game. And Digital Threat as a whole unit were all applying off-ball pressure in that last series. Both teams are trying to look for demos, but all three players on the side of Digital Threat were not only looking for demos, but they were using their teammates and not missing the ball, you know, which if you don't miss the ball, that of course helps when you're playing in a big tournament setting. And overall, they just looked like the more complete team in that semifinal match. And right now, even though they got scored on to tie the game, they're still looking consistent. But Aura Esports, even playing with Fungus, they don't look as scrappy as one may have expected.
Absolutely, a close save there from Camo, but Corrupt is going to start making his way down the field, looking for a middle pass here off the ceiling, too high for 2Freezy. And now Survivor, little low on boost, is going to pop it over to Horizon. Horizon's going to get cut off quickly, and it could be an easy shot for Corrupt. He's going to put it top right, and a close save. Not quite in, but it will eventually just barely go in.
It looked like it was savable, but it looks like, who was it? It was Survivor on the goal line. He ends up just side flipping past the ball. I mean, that has to be nerves. I think if he was in a ranked game and that happened, he would have been like, ha ha ha, get the save and get the clear. But that time, he ends up side flipping, and we're all laughing at him. So, Corrupt now gonna be the one passing the ball mid, and still, no complete pressure from either side so far.
Right, and nerves are such a big part of this league especially. I mean, not many players are being used to having their matches being streamed. I mean, there are some streamers who play in Havoc, but I mean, a lot of these players are just random players on random orgs that really aren't used to having their names be thrown out as much, and it definitely does get to you after a certain point.
Definitely, definitely. But here comes Fungus. He's going to be starting the counterattack for his team. 2Freezy with a great interception. And 2Freezy maybe taking a little bit of page out of Awash's book. Awash in the last two series on stream has looked fantastic. He was reading the plays to the point where the instant the ball was hit, he was already in the air taking possession. And we're already seeing 2Freezy has implemented a little bit part of that into his game, trying to improve series by series like any great player should.
Absolutely. Fungus is going to take a quick shot there, though, and 2Freezy is not able to save it, and that's going to tie the game up 2-2.
There we go. Look at this. Fungus, the substitute coming in, and I believe he's also coming in cold. He has not been in a lot of Havoc series so far in regards to that aspect, but I believe he also just got on his computer after he heard that Deluxe Drew had to play in another series. So definitely going to be a close series here if Fungus is able to step up this early on in game number 1. But I do think this is more the game 1 jitters. Game 1 was close between Digital Threat and Havoc Red, and I definitely assume this one to be close as well. Whoever's able to take game 1 is going to definitely take that confidence and run with it, as a game 7 win from Aura Esports is definitely going to give them confidence in this grand final, whereas a dominant win in Digital Threat will also build in that confidence. So who will gain the initial confidence against each other in this series? That's what we'll need to take from game number 1.
Here we go. Camo entering the final minute. Fungus is going to cut it off quickly off the corner. 2Freezy trying to bang it away. Camo up quickly, but gets bumped by Survivor. Now Horizon taking his time, has a good amount of boost, forcing a 50 on Corrupt. Survivor's trying to keep it out of the middle. 2Freezy trying to get it back into the corner. Fungus now trying to get the ball away from his half. Corrupt is going to keep it in the middle. Camo getting beat by Horizon, and we're entering the final 30, and the pressure's switching sides. Corrupt trying to keep it away from Survivor, but it's going to go into the middle. 2Freezy hitting it away. Fungus back out to the sidewall now. Camo getting bumped off of the ball. Horizon getting dunked by his own teammate. Rather unfortunate in the final few seconds, but here we go. Still in the middle. Fungus grabbing the boost, taking his time. Entering the final 10 now with Corrupt, trying to stay with it, but Survivor's going to keep it away. Horizon now on the wall, putting it up. Still continuing to dribble, flicking it over one, flicking it onto the backboard, but 2Freezy quick to read that one, and we may have an overtime. 2Freezy trying to keep it in the middle. Camo with a shot, and it's gonna go in! A goal from Camo to win the game.
0-second goal. Digital Threat have done it again, and they managed to take game number 1 against a Aura Esports that, even with their sub, looked fantastic. And there goes Horizon for the car switch. But oh my goodness, that's another 0-second goal, or at least late game goal for Digital Threat, as they've continued to do this series after series. I think right now, outside of Havoc Gold maybe, Digital Threat probably have the most amount of 0-second goals here this entire season, and they're continuing to put on a show against even this squad.
Absolutely. And I mean, I just felt like our esports in those final 30 seconds were noticing that they were under a lot of pressure in that final minute. And I feel like they just kept throwing the ball towards Digital Threat, hoping to make them awkward. But really what it was doing is it was giving Digital Threat possession. And after a little bit of just ping-ponging back and forth, it finally worked out for them in that final play for Camo, putting that one away and securing that goal for his team and winning game 1, which in this grand final is such a huge win.
Definitely. And it looks like everyone's readied up. So we're going to be getting into game number 2 between these two fantastic teams. Both of them ecstatic that they managed to play in the championships. But if they want a real chance at the title, they definitely want to try and avoid the best team right now in Havoc Esports in Havoc Gold. And the way they do that is by winning this. Now, don't get me wrong, Sloth Dark are still a very solid team. But when you compare Sloth Dark to a team such as Havoc Gold, people would have a much clearer preference on who would they rather play. And right now, Digital Threat, they're looking to try and do what they did in the previous game, previous 2 best-of-7s they've played in, and go up in the series by 2 games. And last time, they were able to get the win, so let's see if they can do it again.
Absolutely. And I mean, going into the last chance qualifier, I believe in the championships, I believe there's 8 teams, if I'm correct, and the top 6 from Havoc Main League, of course, already made it there, but Havoc Gold and Sloth Dark, they are 2 very good teams, and I think either way, it's going to be rough for either of these teams to win either of those series, but I mean, it will be a close series today and next week for both of these teams in those championship games.
Yeah, definitely. And Sloth Dark, they're nothing to slouch at, but one team, you get a rank A player, a B+ player, and a high B player. And then on another team, you just get 3 B players. So I think just that math alone will definitely make a preference be known. But Sloth Dark, they've been a team that has consistently won against everybody except Havoc Gold. We thought that Havoc White and Havoc Gold would be the 2 teams at the top of the standings at the end of the season. And Havoc White, they're still in the championships, but Sloth Dark have been the only team that's really fully stepped up and replaced Havoc White in terms of that second best team, and only losing to Havoc Gold in both Swisses and both playoffs as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a really interesting championship. We have a lot of good teams in there. We have a lot of really good players, but, you know, we got to see who gets the better seeding in this series, with Corrupt trying to find the goal here. May actually find it, but it's almost a save, but it does go in for Corrupt.
There we go. And something also to keep in mind going into next week, though, is on Havoc White, they, of course, do have the current 4-time Havoc winner in Benji. So Benji, he's not been showing up really well in over the last couple of months in Rocket League, but honestly, back in Season 6, he didn't look like the best player in the world either, and he still managed to win. Back in Season 5, he was playing against an undefeated Havoc White and still managed to get the win. So no matter what, Havoc Gold, they still will always have to keep in mind that they want to try and beat Benji as early as possible, because if it goes to that grand final, Pixcar's been known for getting reverse swept by Benji at this point. But here we go. Digital Threat, halfway through this game, they have the lead, and they're looking to try and extend this series lead to 2.
Absolutely. They almost find the second goal there. 2 Freezy's going to be able to finish that one and putting it away. A 2-goal lead with just over half the game left to play.
There we go. Look at that. Corrupt off the crossbar to Freezy with the perfect read. And this is very similar to the last game as well. We talked about how which team was reading the play better, because it looked like Havoc Red were more reacting to what was happening. Whereas when we look at the side of Digital Threat, they are consciously trying to read exactly where that ball's going and pre-positioning themselves for it, and they're executing it perfectly. This is what we want to see from Digital Threat, especially as they're going on to next week, where they're playing against some other very solid teams. And the team they lost to in the last playoffs, when they lost to Havoc Orange showed they could take not just one but multiple games off of Havoc Gold as well. So if they want to try and at minimum be that top 2 team, they're going to try and keep improving going into the next week.
Absolutely, and I mean, Havoc Orange definitely found the Pixelcar factor in the Havoc Gold series. I mean, they got beat in the first best of 3, best of 5, or best of 5, best of 3. Goodness.
They got beat in the first best of 5, yeah, of the best of 3. There we go.
And then went to Game 5 in the second one and still ended up losing. But I mean, just taking a few games off of such a good team is still impressive. And I mean, you get a replay review in there from one of the Havoc coaches, or just from a coach in general. Fix what you need to improve on, and hey, maybe they win the second best of 5 series.
Yeah, and that's what Havoc Orange did. Havoc Orange came to me. They asked for a coaching session, or at least more specifically, Matthias really asked for one, and of course I was able to help him out. As well as same thing happened with Digital Threat. Digital Threat is a whole team, and a bunch of other teams have also asked for coaching, especially over the last month leading up to championships. And so far, Digital Threat, they're the ones that are really looking like they're utilizing that coaching to the best extent, and the ball will get pinched out to the corner. But right now, Aura Esports yet to find a goal, whereas Digital Threat, they're continuing to improve as the series goes on, which is a completely different Digital Threat to the beginning of the season. We have to remember, back in Split 1, Digital Threat didn't even make the Split 1 playoffs. They got knocked out 1-3 in Swiss after almost getting knocked out in groups. So it's definitely a completely different Digital Threat to even the beginning of this season.
Yeah, I mean, I love being in Havoc and watching these teams improve over the season, and especially being able to coach some of these players and just watching them quickly. I mean, this season has been great. We've seen a lot of the players improve by a lot, especially Digital Threat. But even like my team, we went from losing every series to winning just a few, and putting up a fight. And then of course some academy teams put almost a 3rd goal there, and I think we're about to wrap up Game 2 here, Luke, with Digital Threat going up 2-0 in the series.
Yep, Digital Threat. They have done it every best of 7 that they've played in. They've only played in 2 best of 7s, to be fair. They played in 1 semifinal in Split 2. They won the first 2 games, but ended up losing in Game 7. Whereas right now, they are now up by... Then they... Last series, they end up going up by 2 and won in Game 5. So maybe they're going for the clean sweep right now. I mean, that, of course, would be spectacular. It would definitely show a way more linear idea of improvement, as every single series, they're winning stronger and stronger games.
Absolutely. But Luke, what do you think our esports can do to come back in this series? As I mean, Game 1 wasn't really a super convincing win for Digital Threat, but this one definitely seemed on more of the side of Digital Threat.
Yeah, definitely. I think when it comes to Aura Esports, they have to really ramp up on the defensive demos. When they're on the offensive end, they are looking for bumps still. They're still looking for bumps, even with the Deluxe Drew not there. But when it comes to defense, they kind of just, once the ball ends up in Digital Threat's possession, Aura Esports kind of just rush back to net. It's like we're looking at a little bit of an NRG type playstyle, where instead of actually applying pressure throughout the entire field, they just give away possession and then rush back to their net going for big boosts. And that's kind of what it's looking like for Aura Esports right now. So hopefully, going into this game, we can see them pick it up on the demos, look for some more off-ball pressure on the defensive end of things, and maybe we can see them come back in this game. But kickoff goal for Digital Threat will definitely make this very difficult.
I mean, yeah, just 3 seconds in and you're already getting scored on, and you're already down 2-0 in the series. I mean, that one's gotta sting just a little bit for our esports, but you know, Horizon, he's hoping the car switch for, I believe, the 3rd time in this series is gonna work out for him. Maybe only the 2nd, but you know, we will see how this game goes. But our esports, they're opening up with some pressure there, but they get quickly cut off. Survivor is trying to bring it back. Fungus is just gonna wait for the ball to come to him. Camo dropping it down. Horizon missing it. Now Camo again, getting it onto the back wall. Survivor going quickly, and Corrupt is gonna have to rush back, but he's getting chased and pre-jumped by Fungus. Ball will pinch down. A little bit of team communication there as a ping-pong's out, but it's back to 2 Freezy. Freezy trying to keep it away. Survivor will miss the ball, and a huge bang coming down the field. Really awkward for our esports right now. 2 misses coming through, and Corrupt with a mistouch back down the field.
Taken away here by Horizon, looking for the flick, looking for the goal! Tied game from Aura Esports. And look at the Survivor, he puts it off the corner and instantly goes for that demo. So, like I said, they've been going for the offensive demos all series long. But now, the question will be, can they maintain the defensive structure that they had in the previous semifinal? Or will Digital Threat fire right back after the second goal?
Now Corrupt getting an awkward 50. The ball's going to pop up into the middle. A quick challenge from Survivor, but not quite going in. Camo trying to go for the ball. Gets his boost on, but he's going to make it work. Going down the field as best as he can. Survivor, though, with a good, not necessarily bump, but I guess disrupting the car. And almost in for Too Freezy, but it's going to get popped out by Fungus. Fungus following it up on the wall. Too Freezy putting it into the middle for one of his teammates. Corrupt not quite reading where the ball is going to go, and Horizon will now take the ball down the field. Camo cutting it off quickly, however, and Survival will bang it right back.
Too Freezy passing it down to Corrupt. Corrupt with the shot! Corrupt with the goal! 1 goal lead for Digital Threat. We've already said that so many times tonight, but we get to say it again, and it will never change. Hey, getting to hear that fantastic ring of words together, but the series is not over yet. Digital Threat, they're only up by 1 goal at the end of the day, and they've thrown a two game lead in a series before. It's definitely not over just yet, but with how they're looking, you gotta say the intangibles are really lining up for Digital Threat in this series.
Absolutely, and I mean, Game 3 is really important for both of these teams. I mean, you're looking at one side possibly going to match point very quickly and forcing the other team to have to reverse sweep, or you're looking at the other team taking a game and maybe regaining some momentum they have previously lost from the last semifinal. So it's a really tough position for Aura Esports. They're in a bad spot. I mean, being down 1 goal in Game 3, but they have a lot of time, and if they take this win, maybe things will turn around for them.
Definitely possible, but the one player I'm going to be really looking out for today is Horizon. He came in split 2 as a really strong individual, and now he's trying to show that he can play at the highest level of the game. I know he said he's looking forward to playing in the championships no matter what, no matter who he gets to face, especially if he gets to play against a team like S5 Cosmic's team. But of course, he wants to face them in the grand final. That's what he wants to do. And we're not going to be able to see that unless they can try to come back in this game. So if Horizon wants that to happen, let's see if he can tie up this game for his team, or if Digital Threat are going to shut down that dream.
Yeah, I mean, playing against teams like that, even for me, I just find that like a really good learning experience, especially since I think at the end of the day, we're all here to get better, whether it's together or alone. But I mean, if you're going to play like a team against S5 Cosmic, again, you have the B+ rank A players. You have the guy who's like top 30 in ones at the moment. I mean, it's such a good learning experience, and it really puts your name out there as well, and really does help you improve.
Definitely. Now, though, here comes Horizon. He ends up getting a touch out to the side, but Corrupt is a great possession. Gets the ball mid, pinches it mid, Too Freezy. Almost reacting to that ball. I don't think anybody could have read that ball pinching as it did off the post, but he almost got to it. And now, ball bounced off the backboard is Aura looking for the counterattack. 1.5 minutes to go. Ball back out to Corrupt. Corrupt flicks it over 1. Fungus keeps it in. Fungus, can he get the pass out mid? He misses. Too Freezy misses as well, but that's going to be a miss. It's a miss. It's a miss party, excuse me, but there we go. Horizon pops the ball after the mid. Back over to Fungus. Fungus with the shot. Too Freezy with the save. Aura Esports can't break the line of defense.
Now Horizon, he's going to try and take possession of the ball, hitting it over to his teammate, getting back to it, popping it up off the corner, maybe off even the back wall, but Corrupt is going to cut it off quickly. Corrupt a little low on boost here, being forced to make a touch. The ball will get boomed down the field, and it's back to Horizon, popping up, back through the middle. Horizon getting it past 1, and it's a bit of a 1v1 situation. Survivor with a good 50. Fungus is going to look for a shot, but he doesn't go for it. We're in the final 30 seconds, and Aura Esports are still down by 1, and Corrupt is going to try and keep it away and just waste time. Too Freezy having to make an awkward save. Awkward save it is, and Camo will bang it down the field. Survival will cut it off. Over to Horizon. Horizon can't go, and Fungus will be forced to jump, but getting beat. Survivor up again very quickly off the back wall. Ball drops down. It is a double commit from Digital Threat, but they will make it work out. A quick shot comes in. It's off the back post. Fungus trying to keep it alive. Entering the final few seconds, Corrupt is going to bang it away. I think Too Freezy is going to try and make sure it drops, and he will bang it way across the field. Fungus keeping it up. Almost in. Two Freezy's gonna put it down, and Digital Threat are gonna go on to match point.
Match point for Digital Threat. They've done it. They've managed to finally win a game 3. They haven't been able to do it in any games in any best of 7 we've seen. And honestly, I don't remember Digital Threat ever getting a sweep before this in a best of 5 either. So first win in a game 3 at least for Digital Threat in a best of 7. But now we're gonna be going over to Manfield Knight. Who do you think has this game 7? I mean, of course, I don't think anyone's expecting a best of 7 reverse sweep, even if it is the Havoc special. But what do you think Aura needs to do here to even have a chance to come back in the series?
Uh, they're missing the demos. I mean, honestly, Deluxe Drew made it pretty easy in the semifinals to just give them space and give them opportunities. And Horizon and Survivor weren't doing it as much in our semifinal. And I mean, whether it's defensive demos or just off-ball pressure in general, they're just lacking in that department. I feel like their defense is good, their offense is good. They're throwing away the ball just a little bit, but I mean, just they're really lacking the offensive pressure.
I can definitely agree. I think they definitely dropped off on the offensive end of demos as well. They got that first goal, and it seemed like that was it. But now they have to go into this game and not only fix their demo game completely offense and defensive-wise, but they have to make sure they're able to stop the onslaught of offense that Digital Threat has been performing throughout tonight.
Absolutely. Survivor, he's going to try and force a 50 out of Camo. He should be going for the ball, but a ball side rotation almost messes them up. Horizon's going to keep it away. Little low on boost. He will try to keep it up, and a weird 50 comes through, but just a lot of... I don't really know how to describe it. Just a lot of miscommunication coming from Aura Esports right now. We have two players diving for the ball, players being really close to each other, and just it's giving Digital Threat a lot of time to just possess the ball and just play their game.
Here we go. 2 Freezy looking for a shot. Ends up putting it off the side and easily touched away by Horizon as Fungus starts the counterattack. Looking for the cut mid. Ends up faking out the pass. Goes for the shot himself. The substitute Fungus puts in the first goal. And he may not have the same demo capabilities, but this is a dribble that anybody wish they could do. And that's going to be Fungus doing it in what could be the final game of the series for tonight.
Yeah, but I mean, they're going up by 1 goal with 4 minutes left, but 2 Freezy with a great kickoff, and he's gonna dunk it in, and it goes right back. Oh my goodness.
That's definitely going to kill any momentum that Aura Esports had after that first goal, as, once again, kickoff goal, kickoff goal, kickoff goal. It's always going to happen no matter what game mode you're in. Even, honestly, I could see it even in a Chaos tournament. There'd still somehow be a kickoff goal. But right here, we're seeing Digital Threat tie up the game off the kickoff goal, and they're right back to applying pressure.
Absolutely, and I mean, Deluxe Drew, another thing about him, he had very solid kickoffs in our series. I mean, he has a very solid speed flip, and he's very consistent at it, so especially for Taz and Osiris, it's really hard for them to keep up on those kickoffs. I mean, even for me, and just Horizon and Survivor, their kickoffs are a little bit more awkward. I don't even think Survivor does a 2-flip kickoff, so I mean, kickoff goals are pretty common, unfortunately, for Aura Esports, which is really unfortunate when you go up 1 goal and then it just goes right back in your face. But possibly a second one there for Digital Threat, but not quite as Fungus will hit it away.
And how you do the kickoff doesn't necessarily matter as long as you're able to control the outcome. Of course, Tim LeBull on a grand finalist team in Havoc White last season. And I think he's still the alternate for Havoc White this season. He's a player that doesn't really flip on kickoff. He drives for the most part, and I think on just one of the kickoffs he actually flips, but for the most part, he doesn't flip at all. He just drives and then flips into the ball after the other player hits it for the most part, and it works. He was I believe the highest he's gotten is 1 game off SSL until he ended up losing that last game, but Tim, very high-level player, even with that type of kickoff, even going against pros. But Aura Esports will manage to put in another goal right there. And we're back to a 1-goal lead for Aura Esports as they're looking to keep this series alive.
Absolutely, and quite the game. I mean, game 4, Aura Esports are preying on a reverse sweep at this point, which I'm gonna be honest with how they're looking. Even if they win this game, I don't know if they're gonna be able to bring it back. Just a lot of double commits, but hey, you never know. Maybe they'll bring it back quickly. But almost a goal for 2 Freezy there. Maybe a goal from Corrupt. It's off the back post, but ball's gonna be popped out. 2 Freezy's gonna put it back in the middle. Camo there. Bit of a double commit from Digital Threat, and it will go to Horizon in the corner. Corrupt getting a quick shot here, but it is saved away by Survivor. 2 Freezy keeping pressure on, trying to get it into the middle. Pinches it. Horizon, knowing no one's there, is going to take his time. Gets a good dunk out to the left, and Survivor up quickly. Ball back into the middle. Horizon putting it down the field to Survivor. Survivor with a huge shot, but Camo with an even better save.
2 Freezy pops it off the side wall, looking to try and start the counter-attack. Ends up getting stopped out early on by Aura Esports as they keep the pressure on the offensive end of the pitch. Fungus ends up getting beat to the ball by 2 Freezy, but he ends up staying in the air just long enough to get a touch. And a beat from Corrupt will keep the ball on the offensive end, but here comes Survivor. Survivor gets a win on the 50-50, sending it at least to the midfield line. Horizon continues it down into the offensive end. A miss from Fungus, though, is going to start the counterattack for the other team. Corrupt with an empty net. He hits it off the post, but it still bounces in. Minute 12 left, and we got a tied game.
Oh my goodness, but I mean, if the game continues how it's going to go, you know, our esports are going to grab another goal in the next 30 seconds to a minute, but I mean, I think Digital Thread, knowing that they're on match point, I think at the end of the day, they're okay with losing one, but I think they want to end this one quickly. I mean, it's late. I'm pretty sure they want to maybe grab a late night snack and go to bed and just end this series in a sweep, which is something we haven't really been able to see them do, but they grabbed 2 huge saves there. But now we're in the final minute, and it's just up to Digital Threat to see if either they can win in overtime or if they can take it before regulation ends.
They're able to do it in game 1 of this series. They scored a 0-second goal to take the first game, and it would definitely be picturesque if they would be able to get a series winner with a 0-second goal as well. But let's see if they're able to do it. 34 seconds to go. They, of course, will definitely take a goal in any shape or fashion right now. But the ball will be over to Horizon. Horizon looking to get the beat, gets the first reset, can't get the second. Will now be back over to Fungus. Fungus back over to 2 Freezy. 2 Freezy looking for the beat. Starting to look for the counter-offensive. Keeps the ball on the offensive end. Can he get the demo? Looks like Corrupt was looking for a demo as well. Pass out mid. A little bit of a mess up on the rotation there from Digital Threat. And now it's going to be Corrupt. Last on defense. Can he make the save? Of course he does. And now it's going to be 2 Freezy looking to start the counter-offensive at 0 seconds. Ball floating through the air. It's off the backboard. I wouldn't be surprised to put this down intentionally. It bounces off the curve. Back to Fungus. They're going to be looking for their own 0-second goal! And Aura Esports get the goal to send us to game 5.
Oh my goodness. I mean, what an unfortunate hit for Corrupt. He's going up, diving for that hit off the back wall, and he just puts it onto the corner curve, which is the most unfortunate spot you could put it. We all know that corner curve, and we know no matter how you hit it, that ball's going to go up and back straight in front of the net. And just such an unfortunate situation for them, and now they're going to have to hope they can win Game 5, because I'm sure Digital Threat, they are a little sad after losing that one.
I will say, in the 2 best-of-7 reverse sweeps that have happened in a Havoc playoffs, one of them was Havoc White were winning 3-0 in the series, and then they got blown out in Game 4, and then they got reverse swept. But another one was they won the first 3 games, and then they lost to a 0-second goal, and then lost the next couple of games after that. So, as dominant as Digital Threat have been, we are following the exact same pattern that Havoc White has had before when they got reverse swept. So, the series is nowhere near over, but Digital Threat going to be looking to try and put a stopper in this game.
Absolutely, and I mean, it is the Havoc curse. I feel like no matter what, whether it's in a playoff or whether it's our last chance qualifiers or our championships, there's always one reverse sweep, and it's just, it has to happen. And I don't think we've had one yet, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Havoc curse continues and we get a reverse sweep here.
I definitely wouldn't be surprised as well, because we'd have to remember this game. I mean, this series could already be different. If that first game didn't get scored on at 0 seconds, I mean, we could very well see Aura Esports being at the 3-1 position right now. So it's definitely not the end of, it's definitely still been a close series. It's just that they have been narrowly winning each game. But right here, they're going to be looking to try and clean up their act, get back into this game, and make sure they do not let this go to a Game 6, because once it goes to Neo Tokyo, anything is possible.
Absolutely, and I mean, they have some time to learn. If they lose this one, it is not the end of the world. They just need to, you know, probably take the time once the game ends, that 60 seconds to talk about, hey guys, we lost these two. We need to focus, and you know, maybe that's what they're gonna have to do after this game with Survivor getting that early goal.
Definitely. And Aura Esports looking to carry that momentum off the 0-second goal, and Digital Threat, they're going to be thinking that ball bounced off the curve at the end. They probably thought it was 0 seconds. They probably even stopped paying close attention, and the ball bounced out mid. They had to re-pick up those controllers, and they still got scored on at 0 seconds. As now Survivor and Fungus both being a great duo in the offensive end. Horizon, when he's with Deluxe Drew, tended to be a little bit more at the forefront, and when Volkenzi's in the game as well, he tends to be at the forefront as well. But right now, he's kind of been taking more of a back role. He's been staying a little bit further back, letting Survivor and Fungus taking a lot more of the offensive hold, and it's honestly looking like it's working.
And too Freezy, he's gonna get on the back wall, quick shot from Camo, but it is away by Fungus. Survivor up for the ball, hitting it down, Corrupt, keeping it away. But I mean, 10 boosts in hands, he's gonna leave it for Too Freezy, but Too Freezy just gets a mistouch. And Fungus is going to grab a flip reset, gets it past one. Probably didn't mean to get a touch there again, but Too Freezy is going to happily take it down the field. Horizon, though, will cut it off quickly, using a lot of boost, and Corrupt will win the ball into his corner. Put back into the middle, a bump attempt, but it doesn't quite work out, and Horizon will be forced to rotate back quickly. Camo, keeping pressure on, doesn't quite dunk it into the middle, but it doesn't matter as Corrupt is right there again, but a miss will leave Too Freezy in an awkward position. Takes possession, pre-flips into the ball, looking for an air dribble, but Horizon would get a save. Corrupt keeping it there. Fungus now taking possession, and it's a dangerous spot for Digital Threat, but Camo will grab that save, and Corrupt will start making his way back down the field.
Horizon loses the 50 out to the corner. He'll end up trying to take possession himself. Too Freezy comes in for the early challenge, but ends up working out for Fungus. Fungus over to Horizon. Horizon with a great dunk. Gets it onto the offensive end. And here starts the pressure for Aura Esports. Ball kept in by Aura Esports once again. Corrupt looking to send that ball down to a teammate. And they pass the ball out to the midfield, but Horizon keeps it on the offensive end. And Digital Threat, they just can't get the ball out of their own half. They're starting to give away the ball a little bit more as well. Aura Esports going to take every single possession they can get.
Absolutely, and I feel like it's the nerves finally setting in. They lost game 4, and maybe they're just getting in their own heads just a little bit, which is definitely possible, but Corrupt trying to keep it alive by getting a goal, but Horizon grabs that save, grabbing the flip reset, but actually is dunking Too Freezy back towards his own net. But now, Corrupt, he's going to try and keep it there in the middle, but the ball's pinched way across the field to Horizon. Horizon clearing it down the field to Freezy, putting it right back, kind of giving away possession to Fungus, but Fungus actually getting dunked by Too Freezy, makes Survivor just a little bit awkward, but he's on his own back wall with a good amount of boost. Camo trying to pre-jump, making a force, but Fungus in a bit of an awkward spot, grabs the save. Still in the middle, still a goal-scoring opportunity, but Horizon's going to cut it off before anyone can get there.
Horizon over to Survivor. Survivor looking to pass it back to Horizon. He's not able to receive the pass, but the ball continues to pass out to the middle. Ball back over to the side. Back into the hands now of Survivor. Survivor trying to maintain possession for his team. Sends it all the way across to Horizon. Horizon keeps it on the offensive end. Back over to Camo. Camo tries to get the 50. He succeeds in doing so, but the ball remains on the Digital Threat half. The Too Freezy looking to try and get this ball to the other half, and Camo will finally clear the ball down. Ball does find itself off target, as right now Aura Esports, if they can win this game, if they can avoid getting scored on, I can definitely see the reverse sweep in the cards. But Too Freezy looking for the beat. Back to Corrupt. Corrupt trying to maintain possession. Well, now we back over to Camo. Camo looking to get the 1v1, and he can't get it past. Too Freezy puts it off the backboard. Ball up from Corrupt. He gets beat. Can he get this ball out? And he will keep it out. 13 seconds to go. Can he keep the ball on the offensive end? Too Freezy. He shoots. It's off target. Fungus may have gotten back in time anyway, but the ball bounces out middle. 2 seconds to go. Horizon puts it down on the ground. Aura Esports getting back in the series. 2 to go.
I have so many concerns, and I feel like it was nerves, but I mean, Too Freezy, he takes that shot last second, but he is all the way across the field. I mean, you should only logically be taking those shots if no one is back. I mean, the ball was to his feet, he had a boost, and I don't know. I feel like we might have had a slightly different story there if he just held on to the ball as he had like no pressure on him. But you know, it's okay. They go to game 6 now. Neo Tokyo. It still could go either way, but I think Digital Threat, especially Corrupt. I mean, I wanted to see a little bit more from him in that game, and
You
he
think 80
just
points isn't
wasn't
enough
there.
to win a grand final?
No, I do not think 80 points is enough to win a grand final, especially when everyone else in the lobby is getting 300 and higher almost. I mean, Survivor at 290, but I
Yeah,
mean,
I definitely agree. Like Corrupt, he's the back in the last few games when they were about to sweep in the previous series. Corrupt, he was the main man. He had the ball, he took possession, and literally every single time he got the ball, he started an air dribble and go for a bump. And it set up so many different plays that allowed Digital Threat to win games against both Aura Esports and against Havoc Red. But we haven't seen that same offensive power from him since those earlier games.
absolutely. But here we go. Game 6, just starting. 2 Freezy's gonna start us off quick with an air dribble attempt. Going onto the backboard, looking for a double tap, misses it, and it's gonna drop to Survivor. Survivor carrying the ball. Fungus looking for a demo, but actually messes up his own teammate. Not quite in though, as Horizon will hit it away. Corrupt with a follow-up off the ceiling. 2 Freezy trying to get there. Looking for possession. Looking for a fake. Grabs a 50, but it's not gonna work out for his favor, and Fungus will get another dunk camo, having to backflip there. 37 boost, looking for another play. Ball stalled in the middle. 2 Freezy looking for a pass, but hits it too far in front of Corrupt, and the ball's gonna be taken away by Horizon.
Ball pinched out middle. Now back into the hands of Camo, and Camo will finally find a goal. They remained mostly scoreless for the last part of the previous game, or I believe the entire game they ended up scoreless. And now they finally score the first goal in Game 6. I mean, it's why the reverse sweeps are so more difficult, because even though Digital Threat are, of course, nervous about getting reverse sweep at this point, Aura Esports, after they've won 2 games, sometimes it can get kind of into their own head, like, hey, are we actually going to do this? But no, you got to take it one game at a time. And if they don't take it one game at a time, Digital Threat, as the better team, will definitely be looking to try and win. Of course, they are definitely looking like the better team tonight, but those last 2 games definitely was not the same team. So let's see if they can keep on form and win this game.
Now, Camo taking the ball, really low on boost, and Survivor making a quick challenge there. Corrupt trying to keep the ball away. Again, really low on boost. Fungus is going to pinch it off the wall. Back to Camo. Camo's going to try and keep it in their possession. Camo taking his time, flicking it over Survivor, but he gets bumped off of it. Horizon's going to put it right back. Corrupt is going to grab the save. Almost touching the ceiling, but Fungus putting it right back. It's off the back wall. 2 Freezy hitting it up high and away. Horizon jumping a little too far forward for that one and is going to have to leave it. Fungus a little bit awkward. Pinches it with Survivor. Ball popping way high in the middle. And Camo will be the one to the ball first, getting that beat. Horizon's gonna try and keep it away. Horizon dodging a demo as well, but Survivor now in a position where he has to touch the ball, getting instantly challenged by Camo. Corrupt with a huge redirect. The Fungus will grab that save. A good demo, but a missed shot from Camo, and Digital Threat still up by 1 and honestly looking pretty solid.
Yeah, definitely compared to the last 2 games, Digital Threat are looking a lot more confident in their play. Someone had to have said something to build up the confidence, and not only Corrupt, but the entire team. But now we're going to be seeing 2 Freezy off the ceiling, looking for the pass out mid, but he ends up easily getting beat out by Fungus. Through the air is Horizon. Did he get the reset? Looks like he is not able to get the reset. And now, ball bounces out middle. Here comes Horizon. Gets dunked out by Camo. Camo finds himself getting demoed on the back line by Fungus. We're starting to see Aura Esports pick up on the defensive demos as well. If there is a series tonight to go to a reverse sweep Game 7, it would definitely be this one. And that's going to be an insane redirect towards his own net. Camo puts it off his own backboard. Of course, he's not going to own goal, unlike some people tonight. But right now, Digital Threats just maintaining a 1-0 lead.
Fungus now getting control. 2 Freezy grabbing the save. Horizon putting it down. Corrupt is going to grab a save. A bump comes through, and Survivor is going to get pre-jumped, and ball still not quite working out for our Esports. A great pass from 2 Freezy, but it's going to get cut off quickly. Camo trying to keep it there. Corrupt and 2 Freezy are going to have to work out who's going to go for the ball, and it is 2 Freezy, but Survivor now taking the pressure. A little bit of an awkward spot for Digital Threat now, but Corrupt is going to make it so much better as he beats out 2 players, puts it in the middle for Camo. Camo will get his balls taken away by Horizon. 2 Freezy, though, pinching it right back, grabbing the boost, trying to keep pressure on, and still a 1-goal lead for Digital Threat.
Horizon pinches it down the field. Survivor looking to fake it out. He fakes
Oh,
it!
no!
Horizon steals the goal, but that was Survivor's goal. All the way, Horizon. The Survivor fakes the touch, and he gets it past. Oh my goodness. Digital Threat, game tied again. Will we see 7?
Oh no, Camo's gotta feel a little bit bad after that one. I mean, he's expecting Survivor to possibly get a touch with the bumper of his car, which is definitely possible, but in that position, I feel like it's all or nothing. You may as well just fly at the ball and hoping that you hit it, which is what he did, but just a little too late, and the fake comes through, and the play works out for them, and 2 Freezy. He's gonna try and give them an opportunity. Entering this final minute 1-1, the question is, will there be a 0-second goal, or will this be an overtime game?
One thing that we always talk about how most teams are more mechanical than Aura Esports. But the one mechanic they're really good at is that 50-50 game. But will we see a goal? Oh, it's off the crossbar now! Set down the pitch! Wait, it's off the backboard. Follow from Horizon! It's off the crossbar as well! Neither one of these teams can put it below the iron. And now Camo, he ends up getting demoed. Back over to 2 Freezy, back out in the middle. No one can find the goal. Both these teams stopped on the goal line by the 4th man.
We call that the Havoc Sapphire curse. I'm sure we all remember when Havoc Sapphire played Team Purple in Academy. We had a Game 5 OT, and I think we hit the crossbar at least 27 times. So it's so painful to watch. You see the Athena flick coming and hitting the crossbar, and then you see just the double tap attempt that hits the crossbar, and it's so unfortunate, but possibly a 0-second goal. Camo's gonna stop it from happening. Maybe the ball will finally drop down, and it does. We have our first overtime of this best of 7.
There we go. The last couple overtimes have been stopped by a 0-second goal. And we finally, as you said, finally have one. That's going to be a great demo, but an even better challenge from Corrupt. Gets the ball out of harm's way, at least for now. Ball back to Horizon. Horizon going to be looking for that pass out mid. Shot off target by Aura Esports, but they're starting to pile on the pressure late in game number 6. Ball back over to Horizon. Horizon losing the 50. Back to Survivor. Survivor slow playing it off the backboard, looking for the double, and the follow-up. It's off the post again, and Camo sends it down the pitch.
These post taps are crazy, but Horizon's gonna try and keep it away, getting it off the ceiling. Fungus and Survivor making a little bit of a double commit, but the ball is still kept in the middle. Corrupt going up, looking for a solo play. Going under Horizon, but Horizon will dunk it away. Survivor now following up the ball, bouncing high, low on boost, trying to fake Camo, but Camo's not following for it that time, and Camo's gonna try and look for a mid-pass. Fungus cutting it off quickly. Corrupt keeping it alive. Horizon into the corner once again. 2 Freezy off the wall, back to Survivor. Survivor banging it on the wall once again, looking for possession, but Digital Threat are now adding on the pressure, but the ball's going to be banged back, and it's Corrupt now, trying to carry the ball away. A bump coming through from Survivor, and Fungus getting a mistouch. A double commit, though, from Digital Threat could be a little bit dangerous, and it's going to go into the possession of Survivor here, as he's making his way down the field, looking for Fungus. Fungus looking for a shot, but it's off the crossbar again, and Horizon's going to keep it on the wall.
Every single hit has gone off the crossbar here in this overtime. Ball bounces up mid. That's going to be a bump. Camo to win it. Puts it in. Digital Threat go in as the last chance qualifiers winners. Oh my goodness.
Just that little bump there from 2 Freezy really helped them win. I mean, there was a double commit with 2 Freezy and Corrupt. And Corrupt will rotate back. 2 Freezy will take the bump. And what a series. I mean, Game 6, Aura Esports looked great in Game 5. Looked like they could possibly take it back. But Digital Threat is gonna win it. And there we go.
Oh my goodness. Now that is how we want to end the night. Now I'm going to tell you guys right now, I have the most massive headache right now. I've been commentating all night, but I told me I wanted the best of 7. I wanted the game 7, excuse me, but we don't end up seeing it. And Digital Threat looking to try and prove themselves that their split 1 failures was only a one-time thing. But here we go. Thank you so much to both of those teams for putting on a great show, and thank you to everybody, especially in chat, for giving us for watching these games and really putting some more emphasis and pressure on all the teams here in the Havoc League. But here, Azriel, before we end up signing off, what are some of your thoughts here about today?
I mean, today's been a crazy day. We had two FFs, which ended up having I believe it was actually Digital Threat who got one of the FFs, maybe not, but my team getting an FF win in the quarterfinals, another team getting an FF win. So it's been an awkward bracket. You know, maybe some predictions were messed up, but I mean these semifinals and grand finals were really close. Of course, Game 7 on my side of the bracket, Game 5 for Digital Threat in their semifinal, and then of course this grand final. It was a solid win from Digital Threat, but even then, I felt like, especially in those last two games, maybe if our esports had a little bit more time to warm up, especially with Fungus, it could have been a game 7.
And I mean, you do have to wonder if Deluxe Drew was able to play, how much that series would have changed. Because it did seem that Fungus completely warmed up into that series really early on. So I think it would have been a very similar series no matter what. Or maybe, just maybe, if they were fully warmed up as a unit with Deluxe Drew, maybe we would have seen that game 7. But oh my goodness, everybody, that was a fantastic night. Thank you, Azriel, for of course running the B stream and of course co-commentating with me in this grand final. Always a pleasure. But I did want to say thank everybody in the chat. I said this for Academy last night, but Havoc Esports wouldn't be where it is right now with all the amazing players, staff, and of course all the people who watch us at Havoc Esports every single weekend. So thank you so much, everybody. It's truly been a pleasure, and for me at least, being able to watch Havoc from just having 9 members all the way now to almost 700 in our Discord at the very least. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining Havoc Esports on our streams, in our Discord, and continuing to help us grow as an organization. But I think that's going to be it, everybody, for us signing off. Remember, next week, Friday and Saturday, are the championships for Havoc Season 7. We're going to be crowning, hopefully, some new winners. If not, we'll be seeing either a 2-time winner from Cosmic or a 5-time winner from Benji sometime next week. But hopefully, we get to see new crown winners next week. But if not, I'm sure it'll be a fantastic time nevertheless. But thank you guys so much for showing up. I hope you guys all have a fantastic night. See you guys next week. Peace.